30, 20. Will he get caught from behind? That is going to be a touchdown, Taysom Hill.
Here comes pressure, throws it to Eckler on the screen. He's got a block to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers. What a connection. With a man in his face, Herbert lets it fly. Eckler hauls it in and eludes two Brown defenders to pay dirt.
Snap to Josh. Looks downfield, going to throw it. Sets up deep, throwing deep. Looks downfield for Gabe Davis again. He makes a one-handed catch. Goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo. Holy mackerel, they did it again. 62 yards. Gabe Davis made a spectacular one-handed catch.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL Game Day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
I'm sweating a whole hell of a lot. Welcome into the Bettor Zone. Holden Kushner and Greg Larner hanging out with you on this Sunday. It was a nice, profitable early slate. Just laid down a couple of live bets too, Greg. Good to have you on. I know you're down in Tennessee today. I am located in beautiful Denver, Colorado. We got 3 games that are going on right now. And I want to remind everybody what we do here. We go out to the games. We talk about what's going on. We do live leaderboards. We'll do loser boards. We'll get Greg. We're going to cancel the twerking segment this week. Pilar's usually in here. I have no desire to do that segment with you this week. At least there's a 5% chance she'll do it. 100% chance we're not doing it this week. 3 games in progress. And I just laid down a live bet at 2-1 on a Jeff Wilson anytime touchdown. So he's touching the ball a whole bunch. We'll see if we can get that one in there. And welcome, my friend. How the hell are you? Good to meet you. And if you get a shot, leave us some comments today. We got a little comment box here. It says comments. And right now it says no comments because we just started. But if you have comments, hit us up and we'll talk about it. What's going on, Greg? How are you?
Holden, we're good, man. We're sweating some things here in this late slate. Put a couple of things down in the early slate. They were hit and miss. You know, we were good yesterday with some college football stuff, but today we're a little bit slow going, but we're going to pick it up here in the second half of the day. I'm looking for a strong finish to the day for sure.
All right, so we heard Taysom Hill coming in. I didn't watch a second of that Saints game, be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I was all over that Bills game because I had a little Tupac Shakur, Khalil Shakir. Was looking for him in DFS. He had a nice day, so I watched a lot of that Buffalo game. Watched that Green Bay Giants game this morning. I mean, 4-1 for the Giants. That's got to be one of the biggest stories in the National Football League right now. And then somehow, some way, the Chicago Bears just managed to give teams fits once in a while. And the Minnesota Vikings looked absolutely god-awful. And thank God they have Justin Jefferson, who went for a bazillion yards today. But those are some of the things that stand out to me. And then, of course, Tom Brady and letting the Falcons just hang around late, but ultimately getting the victory. Talk to me here. What'd you see today on the board?
Yeah, it was interesting. You threw a lot of those out there, and we started with that game in the morning. And I'm unfortunately a Packers fan, so that one was a tough one to get up for this morning and have to sit through. That offense is just brutal. And the biggest thing from that game that I saw was that Brian Daboll, he looked really, really competent as an offensive play caller there with the coaching staff of the Giants, and they were moving the football. The Packers looked like they were stuck in quicksand. It was bad. And the Giants, are they really for real at 4-1? Are we sitting here talking about the Giants being for real in that NFC East?
Not buying it yet. I've seen too many teams.
Not yet.
Like I've seen a 4-0 Saints team decades ago, and they just completely collapsed. I don't know how they continue this with Daniel Jones under center. He's not killing them right now, I guess, right? He's not taking a lot of turnovers. They're playing it safe there. So they're relying on defense and Saquon Barkley, and through 5 games, it's working. To say that they're going to be a 9-8 team, you buying that or selling it?
I would buy that they're going to be right around 500. They're not going to be a team that finishes the year at 12 and, what is it now? 12-6 now, or 12-5 now that we have these 17 games, if I can do math correctly. But yeah, I don't wholeheartedly believe in them. Look, Daniel Jones, you're right. He's not killing him. He's actually making some plays, and they're putting him in a good position to be successful. They don't have a whole heck of a lot of wide receivers, as you talked about, but I think that they do a good job at utilizing the pieces that they have, and they kind of sprinkle a little bit around everywhere, which for us playing fantasy, it doesn't make for a good day because you don't want any part of that New York Giants offense outside of Saquon Barkley. The defense, they proved that they're sort of legitimate at this point. Now, I know the Packers don't have the biggest and baddest offense at this point, obviously losing Devontae Adams in the offseason, but I really felt that Aaron Rodgers and that offense was going to be able to take advantage and kind of expose the Giants defense a little bit today. The Giants defense, I give them credit, they held up pretty well. And I really felt Matt LaFleur did not call a good game there in the second half. 17 unanswered points for the Giants, that can't happen.
Their defense stinks. That's what it is. They just keep letting these inferior offenses for the Packers get back into things. I mean, there was no reason the Giants should have gotten back into this game. By the way,
Absolutely
in the
not.
comments, the Bettor boss says we're looking good, first of all. So that's good. Second of all, he stacked up Jacksonville, Houston. I'm going to tell you right now, Matt Deutsch, I was sitting at $5,000 first place. Just one of the little $12 things with 5,000 entry all day. Derrick Henry, Khalil Shakir, you name it. Caleb Otten, just nobody's owning these guys all day. Last 5 minutes of the slate dropped from 5K to 250, but we'll take it. It's all right. Here's what I'm on right now, and I want to find out what your bets are too, Greg. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. We got to get these props home though, and I got to get the Eagles -5 home. That's probably my biggest bet of the week. Baker under 196.5. Baker Mayfield is not a starting quarterback in the National Football League. He continued. They finally put him under 200. He's been missing his passing prop to the over by 23 yards. He's got 66-9, but he's got 67 yards here. And we're coming down near halftime, about 5:30 yet. So I'm feeling okay there. Allen Robinson under 39.5 receiving yards. Where is he right now? Ooh, he's got 6 yards. That's actually a little surprising.
Whoa.
And then not feeling good about the Rams -4.5, my friend. You know, the Cowboys came out, made a defensive play. And I'm sitting here wondering, I'm looking at Cooper Kupp. So while you were talking, I was sifting through this and I found a Cooper Kupp 8.5 receptions. The juice is a little much at -130, but let me ask you this. He's got 2 right now. We're coming up to the start of the second quarter. Over under 8.5. Does he get 7 catches between now and the end of the game?
Yes, he does. He needs to be that involved in this offense going forward. He needs to be. They'll find a way to get him the football. They're not going to win this game, but they're going to find a way to put the ball in Cooper Kupp's hands. They always do.
Well, I like it. The reason I like it is because we've got they just closed it too. The reason I like it is because they're playing from behind. And also is pregame, you're getting a lot less juice now as it's even money. So we're at 8.5. So Cooper Kupp, that'll be interesting. Maybe I'll jump in on that once they open it up again. But you're feeling pretty good about 8.5 because I'm leaning toward it. But if I get somebody that I like that kind of says, it's going to go over and you give me some logic, you think it's a show bet?
It might be. It might be.
That does not sound.
That one.
That did not sound very convincing, my friend. That did not sound convincing at all. All right, we're going to hold off on that. Let's get to the leaderboard.
I have a lot of confidence.
Yeah, Isan, what were you saying that is true? What up, Bettor Al? And what was Isan saying? What's up, Isan? What were we talking about today? What are we true about? You let me know. Let's get to the leaderboard, though. We'll do the leaderboards. We'll do the loser boards. We'll do everything. Austin Eckler, man. 2 straight weeks, right? 2 straight weeks. Austin Eckler going bananas. He ends up with 31.9 half-point PPR points, 16 carries, 173, a touchdown, 4 catches, 26 yards, and a touchdown. So for everybody that was saying, oh, no, Austin Eckler, a total bust, this is why we don't freak out after 3, 4, or even 5 weeks in fantasy football. That dude went apeshit today.
Bananas. And I saw something that said, maybe take the under on his rushing prop today. And I avoided that like the plague. I didn't have him as an anytime touchdown score today in any of my bets, but I avoided that underplay today. I was thinking about it. I was contemplating it holding, but I didn't go with it. I have a couple of plays involved right now as well as we kind of roll through the afternoon slate. So what I'm going with right now, and you have the under with Baker Mayfield. I took the under total points for the Carolina Panthers, and I almost couldn't even believe I was reading the number correctly. But again, it is the Carolina Panthers, and their offense is a bit anemic. I went with the under of 14.5 points for the entire game for the Carolina Panthers in this one. They've only got 3 so far, and we've got less than 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, so that's good right now for that. I'm also rolling with a rushing yards prop under 5.5 for Cooper Rush. He's not a guy that gets outside the pocket. He's not contained. He's trying to just get the ball out of his hands. And then we've also gotten over at 23.5 for the Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. That doesn't look great right now, as we've only got 1 touchdown on the board. And then, that's what I've got for so far.
You got on the Eagles Cards?
We have over 24.5. Sorry. And then I have over 23.5 rushing yards for Kyler Murray.
But what's the 24.5 points?
That's points, yes, for the first half.
Oh, yeah, you should hit that pretty easily. The Eagles, that Eagles bet's terrific, and they're sitting there right on the goal line right now, about to go up 14-0. So I got the Eagles -5. I'm going to need them to score more than 24 points probably to cover that. So I think we're on the same side there. Let's keep going, though. Old Uncle Lenny, another big one. He was second today in half-point PPR, 56 yards rushing, a touchdown, but 10 for 83 in the air. You're targeted 11 times with a touchdown, 25.9. Breece Hall, just 0.2 of a point behind him at 25.7. He has taken over that Jets backfield. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And then Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, 2 of the best in the business, busting out in a big way. Once again, Derrick Henry, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 catches, 30 yards. And Nick Chubb with 134 yards rushing, not utilized in the passing game. So he's a lot better in half-point PPR and just standard, if anybody plays standard. The top 5 leaderboard: Eckler, Fournette, Breece Hall, Chubb, Derrick Henry, and Dalvin Cook was away because they played the Bears today. 24.1 points for him. And I'll just say, just keep going back to the well on Justin Fields' under passing attempts. If they're anywhere, over 23, it's just been a gold mine. They do not want this guy to throw. And by the way, Bettor Boss, you got to stop with this. This is the Allen Robinson week. The week what? That he screws up again? That he doesn't do anything? I mean, he better not hit the over on this, Bettor Boss. And then Eson was talking about the fact they'll get the ball to Kupp anyways. They'll always find the way. I mean, you guys are feeling super duper confident about this Cooper Kupp thing.
Yeah, oof. Slow start, but they'll find a way to give him the football. They absolutely will. You mentioned the leaderboard, Holden, and you're talking about Dalvin Cook, and it's always just good when he can get through a game and not come away with any sort of injury, as we see Jalen Hurts touchdown up here, which is good for us.
That's
we'll take
2
that.
Of them now.
We like that. He's been killing it this year. I know a lot of people kind of were questioning whether or not he was going to be a good NFL quarterback. A lot of us who play fantasy knew he was going to be a great option fantasy-wise just because he can run. We weren't sure about his ability to throw the football, but you give him A.J. Brown, and that makes for a dangerous offense there with Hurts running it.
Yeah, and I'm sifting through my DFS lineups now. How many Jalen Hurts lineups did I have? That's the big question. All right.
Stack them up.
16 lineups.
How many do you? I was gonna say, how many do you do in a week typically?
This week was 6. It depends. It'll be between 20 and 30, or 10 and 30. Usually around 20. I think I did 16 this week.
There you go.
And then we still got the showdowns coming up later on tonight and tomorrow too. But you'll notice I'm not going to look at you that much, and it's not because I find you just utterly horrific to look at. There's just too much to be watching right now. We got 3 games. We got stats, we got DFS, we got season long, we got bets. There's just too much. Lisa Ann is in the chat. Hi, Lisa. It's good to see you.
Let's go,
it's great to see Lisa Ann. Absolutely one of my favorites. Although I'm a little pissed off at her. She comes out to Breck. She tells me she hit me up in Breckenridge, and she doesn't. So it's just a little.
Hey,
bit
she told me she was going to come visit this, and then she hasn't either. She didn't either. So.
And she told you she'd visit you too. Yeah, a lot of empty promises is what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, there were. She comes on the show every Friday with us, talk fantasy football on,
she's awesome.
on my show.
She's
so
the best.
Lovely saying.
And it's even better that she's actually that she's actually a part of us now. You can catch her on Wednesdays. I'm excited about that. Let me catch you up on a couple other things. We're doing the leaderboard. We got through the running backs. We can come back and do the wide receivers in just a little bit. But what about the running back loser board for you? Who just absolutely mauled you today? Was there anybody that you're looking at saying, gosh, I really wish I didn't start him? Because for those of you that spent a first-round pick on Najee Harris, 20 yards rushing and 3 catches for 16 ain't going to do it for you. I don't have any Najee Harris, but that was a bad spot for him today. He did not produce whatsoever. That to me is the biggest loser on the board. I guess Aaron Jones too. Aaron Jones was set up in a great spot. 63 yards rushing, 2 catches, 17 yards, and nothing else. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So
Yeah.
that's the loser
Yeah, it was
board at
bad.
running back. Who
And
do you want to add to it?
I was just gonna say, you literally took the words right out of my mouth, and I didn't draft any Najee Harris. I don't have any Najee Harris in terms
No.
of draft stock, but he was one of my keepers in one of my leagues that I play in. Is a 3-keeper league, and I've just been kind of tough at running back, and so I kept Najee because I wanted to these good young running backs that I can kind of just hold on year in and year out. And his volume, he was getting great volume there in Pittsburgh, but obviously with the quarterback change, you didn't really know what you were going to get. So he's been disappointing this year. I've been trying to sort of float it around to any league mates and see if I can work a trade anywhere, and that hasn't really come to fruition. Yeah, Aaron Jones was another one that I was going to mention, and a little disappointed. I was a little higher on, well, I guess I shouldn't be too disappointed with about 20 points from Ramondre Stevenson, but I was maybe hoping for a little bit more in that matchup. How are you feeling about Joe Mixon? When I've been talking fantasy on my show, we talk a lot about Joe Mixon, and the volume is there, but the production hasn't really come with it in terms of yards per carry, a ton of fantasy output. Are you a little bit concerned at all when it comes to
I think
Joe
you got to
Mixon?
be patient with him. You know, we've always wanted them to work him into the passing game some, don't we? We want him to work him into the passing game more. But ultimately, this is an offense that'll get going. I think they've got some nice matchups too. You just look at the Ravens defense that has just been horrific in the passing game. That might actually open some stuff up for Mixon. But when it's all said and done, let's not panic over a month. Joe Mixon is still going to pay off. Maybe he's not one of the top 6 running backs in the league. He's going to be a top 10 running back if he stays on the field, though. And I think he's a running back 1. So no, you're also talking to a guy that doesn't like to panic very much, though. I take a lot of stuff.
You're not much of a panicker?
I'm not. I was tilting.
You
this
seem
morning.
like a little bit of a worrier panicker type of guy.
I'm going to take that personally. I don't like that you said that, and I'd come through the camera and say that to you if I could, but that's okay. But I did. I panicked this morning because I had the Green Bay -2.5 and a couple of teasers, and that just killed me. I got a lot of Wong teasers out there where you're basically taking 6 points and you're going through key numbers like 3, 7, 10. But that Packers one just that was infuriating. And I'm rooting for the Packers to lose out. I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. I'm done with Matt LaFleur. I know these are your guys, but when they lose money, it's over. And I did just place the Cooper Kupp bet, so let's hope we're right. We got plus money on it. Over 8.5 receptions at plus 105, which is much better juice than what it was closing at around 8.5 at minus 140. So it's a better number. He's been targeted 4 times. He's got 2 catches, and that's where I'm sitting at right now. Anything else on the board you're looking at that you want to get into, or any games in particular? Just this Eagles-Arizona game, right?
Yeah, the Eagles-Arizona game, we're obviously paying close attention to that one and seeing what they're doing there. And it's kind of a snooze fest with the other game with San Francisco and Carolina. There's really not much going on there in terms of offense. And you knew there wouldn't be much going on offensively when you've got Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield quarterbacking both ends of that matchup. Not a real good one. They struggle to get Deebo Samuel the ball as much as they need to. And even the Rams offense, like normally if I had a defense that was going against the Los Angeles Rams, I'd probably find a way to either bench them or stream a different defense a week in and week out basis. But I really didn't feel too bad starting the Cowboys defense against the Rams because they've just been so bad offensively outside of Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee. Really, Tyler Higbee's been good.
Tyler Higbee has been the second option on this team. It's been 8,000 targets to Cooper Kupp, and then Tyler Higbee when he doesn't throw it to Cooper Kupp. Today, apparently, he's just spreading it around, though. A couple to Allen Robinson, a couple to Ben Skowronek, Tutu Atwell with a 54-yard catch today. And listen, Cooper Rush has done nothing. He's thrown the ball 6 times for 20 yards. Zeke has run it 6 times for 27 yards. They haven't had to do anything, though, because Stafford just can't hold on to the football. And here goes Cooper Kupp on a huge run. Catch and run. Here we go, buddy. We already got 3. 6 more to hit the over. Cooper Kupp touchdown. My Rams minus 4.5 in play. Bada bing, bada boom.
Boom. Love it.
Love a little Tecmo Bowl.
That was.
Were you even alive when Tecmo Bowl was out? Have you ever played it?
I don't think I was alive for that one. I know what it is, unlike Pilar last week. I heard you guys talking about it, and she didn't really know about Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, it's okay. It just means that I'm old and I got gray hair.
Yeah.
It really was a great game, but technology has gotten better. Okay. All Stafford had to do was just throw it over the middle. Cooper Kupp took care of the rest. Touchdown, Cooper Kupp. Monster touchdown there for the Rams to just give them a little jolt. And we were just talking about it. Dallas has got to do something offensively. We'll see if Cooper Rush, if the magic is there. Personally, I don't think so. And during the break, I'm going to go look at the Cowboys team total and see where that's sitting, because I'm not so sure now that the Rams are playing with a lead that the Cowboys are going to be able to keep up. Be perfectly honest with you. Cowboys team total is 22.5. Ooh, please make it 23.5. That's why they made it a tough one. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
hit us up in the chat. A lot of people hitting us up. Better Al, Lisa Ann, the boss. I mean, it's just, it's wonderful to see everybody in the chat today. There is a fun button on the app. Did you find the fun button, Greg? It's not easy.
I always know where the fun button is, Holden.
You do? Are you just talking about life or the app?
I'm talking about life. Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah.
life.
You sound like a jerk.
Yeah, you sound like a jerk. That's what the thing said. I thought it just sounded nice and cocky, and I like that. Cocky, not arrogance. Yeah. There's a difference. That was a little bit cocky. Anyways, let's come back. We'll give you a leaderboard at the wide receiver. We'll give you the loser board on the wide receiver. He is Greg Larnard. My name's Holden Kushner. Leave us a comment. Find the fun button. Hit the fun button. It's awesome. Stick around. More of the Better Zone to come.
Hang out in the Better Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
Oh, Jalen Hurts. You can't make that throw.
Corey,
Jalen
Nando,
Hurts.
and friends. Presented by Mayo Media on Bettor Sports Network.
I'm convinced that Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Babe Ruth is not real. No, it's not. Babe Ruth is not real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. We've been led astray. We've been run amok.
Keep going.
Babe Ruth. I don't know the rest. The Babe Ruth is a fictional character. I'm dead serious. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Y'all are never going to get me to believe that Babe Ruth is real. Babe Ruth is like a baseball Santa Claus. I'm not buying it. After I saw those highlights last night of Babe Ruth, I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that Babe Ruth is a real person. Who do you know? There is nobody under the sound of my voice that has ever seen Babe Ruth play. I asked my pop, you ever seen Babe Ruth play? He's like, no. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth play. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Even Babe Ruth baseball cards, it looked like it's drawn. Like, Babe Ruth is not real. Y'all trying to pull a fast one. Listen, I don't know who made this up. Maybe it was Phil Rizzuto. Maybe it's the Lenny Melnick. But Babe Ruth is not a real person. There's no way. Everything about Babe Ruth is sketchy. If you didn't go to the games, how do you know that it really happened? Or I listened on the radio. You listen to Ovaltine on the radio. That old school radio was all fiction. Everything on old school radio was fake. But you think Babe Ruth is real?
Look, he lived until 1948. So if you find someone who's like 85 years old, they might have remembered him when he was little, when they were a little teenager.
Babe Ruth was made up by baseball purists. I am certain.
You do that thing where you pause a Babe Ruth video and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in. You see like some artist's autograph like right here.
Yeah, you like
some digital art right here. Yeah.
Somebody need to investigate this and see if Babe Ruth is a real person. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth is a fictional character created to make people think that like there was this great jolly old baseball player that drank beers and ate hot dogs and hit 60 home runs. Like the home run record before Babe Ruth was like 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
but
now
you figured it out. Like who figured out the dunk, right? Like you just like
that's like Dr. J or something, right? Then Dr. J, probably was before Dr. J, but Dr. J made the dunk famous. Babe Ruth made the home run famous, or maybe that was a way to get people to like. We're gonna make baseball America's pastime, but in order to do so, we need somebody who we can make the face of the sport. And they didn't have no face of the sport. So they're like, okay, let's make him a fictional guy that played for the Red Sox and was traded to the Yankees for like tickets to tickets to cats. You know what I'm saying? Like the Red Sox get a Yankees.
You tried to say Les
Miserables. Is there any footage of Babe Ruth in the Red Sox uniform? None. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character.
Smith steps up, And he is going to take a shot. He's got Lockett in stride. Touchdown Seattle with 7 ticks left in the half. A 35-yard strike. Smith to Lockett, and Seattle is back in front. Play action. Smith sets up in midfield. He wants the end zone. He wants Lockett, and he's got him again. Lockett earlier had a 35-yard touchdown reception. This one, a 40 yards.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL Game Day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
Holden Kushner, Greg Larnard. He's in Tennessee. I'm in Denver. We're hanging out, having a good time with you today. We'll get you a wide receiver leaderboard because we heard Geno Smith to Tyler Lockett. And all of a sudden, these wide receivers in Seattle, which a lot of people thought were dead because it was Drew Lock, Geno Smith season, all of a sudden they're flourishing. So we'll get into the leaderboard at the wide receiver position in just a second. Want to remind you to download our free, it's FREE free, Bettor Sports Network app. Be a part of our live talk shows. If you already have it right now, hop in the chat. We got Lisa Ann here. We got Bettor Al. We got Isan. I mean, a whole bunch of people in here today. Find the like button, hit that too. You can call in. You can chat. This is through the app. And you can enter a contest with the push of a button. So it's available in the Apple app and Google Play stores. Tell your friends about the Bettor Sports Network app. Okay, so we just heard Tyler Lockett and Geno Smith. Greg, let's get into the leaderboard right now, and then we'll talk about the losers from today. But Gabe Davis, I mean, I thought his first touchdown catch was big. His second one, where he's just big bomb, one arm, brings it in under pressure in the end zone. Gabe Davis went bananas, 3 for 50, 2 touchdowns, 57 yards of reception, ends up with 29.1 half-point PPR. De'Ami Brown, who caught the bomb, 75-yard bomb from Carson Wentz, he's second, 22.5. And then Lockett at 22.4. Lockett ends up going for 104 and 2 touchdowns off 5 catches. Justin Jefferson, 18.3, 2 half-point PPR, much better at full PPR. And then Jacoby Myers, how about that? With Zappy's going nuts, huh? Myers, 17.1.
Yeah.
And that's the leaderboard there. Anybody kill you, or did anybody really help you at wide receiver today? Because we'll get to the loser board next.
Well, we certainly had Justin Jefferson was one of our big plays. I got him in a couple of places. And look, it's difficult for me. I don't like the Minnesota Vikings. I don't like to root for them. I don't like when they do well. My girlfriend's from Minnesota. She's a big Vikings fan. This household is a little bit divided right now, especially after that week 1 loss to them. But we've still got to play them another time. So Justin Jefferson was great. I know he had a couple of down weeks there where it was like, what in the world is going on with Justin Jefferson? But he's fine. He's an absolute stud. It's not going to be a problem there all season long with him. And then you look at a guy like Gabe Davis, and a buddy of mine in one of my leagues sat him this week because he had killed him the last couple of weeks. But you had to know, and I would have given this advice if he had asked me, they're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that secondary has not been very good. This is not a surprise to me. I had him in a anytime touchdown parlay that I didn't hit, but I was going to bring this up to you in terms of doing anytime touchdown parlays. When you do those, it's interesting because I had him, I felt good about him in the parlay, but I just didn't take him as a straight bet. And I really, looking back on it, I really missed the boat on that one. I was pretty confident he was going to get in the end zone today.
So was that a single game parlay or just an all-time parlay, everything parlay?
That was just I just put about like 6 or 7 dudes that I thought were going to score a touchdown today. Anytime touchdown parlay, just threw that out there. And I wish I would have put it straight. I did grab a Chris Godwin straight. Unfortunately, I don't believe he scored a touchdown. So that parlay went to shit real quick, but I was happy with Gabe Davis that he was able to get into the end zone. And I was this close, Holden, from taking the over in terms of the longest reception that he'd have, and then his over prop for today, which was about like 40 something. I really wish I would have hammered that. You would have got that with both of them with that first catch he had.
I wish I would have hammered the girl with the really rich dad when I was in college, but you know what? It didn't happen. And all these years later, it just got really bad. Anyways, Lisa said, who had the San Francisco defense today? I had other defenses. I like the Philadelphia defense, Lisa. But you're a Cowboys fan. Your boy Tony Pollard, who had the runs the last couple of days, just ran for 57-yard touchdown. So that game it's getting a little crazy, isn't it?
It is.
My goodness. So we got a game now.
We talked about every time we talk shit about the opposing defense or offense, they end up doing something. I talked some smack about the Rams offense. Boom, Cooper Kupp goes off for a touchdown. You talk some smack about the Cowboys. I don't know if they're going to be able to stay in this game now that the Rams have the lead. Boom, there goes Tony Pollard for a touchdown. I was about to take the Cowboys
touchdown
plus 5.5
Cardinals.
bet.
Little touchdown
There we
Cardinals. Marquise Hollywood Brown from one Kyler Murray. So the little guy. And I was telling Pilar this last week. Let me know what you think of this theory. Kyler Murray's so short that he grew an afro just so he looks taller. True or false?
I wholeheartedly believe that. Wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah, he's just a little.
You need all the height you can get when you're a short guy.
There's nothing wrong with that, but he's definitely short, and I think he has a Napoleonic complex. So, anyways, who killed you at wide receiver today? Who's on the loser board for you, my friend? Because I'm going to scroll all the way down. Oh boy, there's some nasty names in here. But this is not a huge loser, but I liked Robert Woods' situation this week against the Commanders. I didn't have much of him in DFS, but I did have a lineup with him. Little disappointed. 4 catches, 50 yards. I really thought that he's a guy that's going to start making a bit more of an impact, but ultimately it's Derrick Henry time there, and nobody else messing around. Then Mike Evans, 4 catches, 50 yards. Very, very soft day, slow day. Had a 40-yard catch, and outside of that, 3 other catches for 10 yards. So I don't want to call them losers, but that's the loser board and half point. What about you?
A little disappointing, obviously, with a couple of those guys there. Not from today, but just in general, a little disappointed about Michael Pittman Jr. I had higher expectations. He was good at the beginning of the season, and obviously we saw him on Thursday Night Football against, which I presume, looking at your background, being a Broncos fan, that was an ugly ass game, but it was not good for Michael Pittman Jr.
No, the Broncos are a complete disaster, man. It's gone south in a hurry here. So much being sold this offseason about the great Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson, and is a team that's going to struggle to get 8 wins now. It's unfortunate, but boy, do they stink. They're a bad football team right now. All right, so I told you, Tony Pollard, 57-yard touchdown run, 16-10. Cowboys over the Rams. The Rams are punting with 6:37 to play, so the Cowboys definitely in the mix here. Explosive plays. We got 2 explosive plays today. 3 actually, because Tutu Atwell had the 54-yard catch. 75-yard touchdown catch and run for Kupp. 57-yard touchdown run for Tony Pollard. Jalen Hurts has scored twice on the ground. He's also thrown for 118 yards, 11 of 15. So that's pretty big for him. We've got a 14-7 score. So again, Jalen Hurts getting it done on the ground. Those of you that spent a higher round pick on him in redraft, you're happy. You had to have some of his shares in DFS today with this matchup. Kyler, 73 yards passing, a touchdown, a pick. He's not running. It's absolute. That's the other thing that's driving me nuts. The one thing that separates him from a lot of quarterbacks is he runs, Greg, and we're just not seeing Kyler Murray put the effort into running.
I need it. We told you I took the over in terms of his rushing prop for today, and it's very disappointing that we haven't seen him move around. He normally does, but we just haven't seen it so far yet. In this game, the Eagles doing a good job of not allowing him to break contain, and going into this game, Holden, I assume that was one of their big points of emphasis. Look, we know Kyler Murray's not that good throwing the football. Let's make him throw the football. Let's not let him run around on us. And you just hope that his athleticism would be good enough that he'd be able to do some of those things. And look, there's still a second half to play. There's adjustments to be made. Hopefully he'll be able to move around and utilize his legs a little bit more here in the second half for both of our sakes.
Well, this is when you kind of look at halftime and you say, all right, well, what's going on with the quarterbacks that run? So are we down by multiple touchdowns? If you're down by multiple touchdowns, maybe you get a shot where Kyler Murray is going to end up running. We are right now, we're 1-1 on this show. First week, he decided not to run. Last week, Pilar wanted to throw a bet on the over. We hit the over, but now we are 12 yards off the closing number. Kyler Murray's rushing prop is 12.5 yards. And at some point in time, I'm going to have to start considering it, especially when we get to halftime. How much time we got here in the first half? There's 5 minutes to go in the first half. If he doesn't run, they're almost going to have him run in the second half if they're down and playing catch up. So, yeah, one more try. We'll try and go 2-1 there. What are you going to do? And Marquise Hollywood Brown, inserting himself into maybe the leaderboard 3 for 49, a touchdown. So he's been pretty good. Once he got away from Lamar Jackson, now he's with a worse quarterback, but the guy looks his way more. And what do you think of Marquise Brown going forward? Wide receiver 1?
I would stymie those expectations. Look, he's looked great so far this season as being the guy there in Arizona. But once DeAndre Hopkins gets back, look, I don't think DeAndre is the DeAndre of old that we've seen, but he is going to take some looks away from Hollywood Brown, and maybe they start to utilize his role a little differently within that Arizona offense, and that takes a little bit of that shine away. And that's kind of why I shied away personally from drafting Marquise Hollywood Brown this year. I wasn't super high. I wasn't sure how they was going to be utilized within that offense, and obviously knew that they were going to have to sort of make up for the loss of DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games, and he'll be coming back here soon, and hopefully he'll be healthy and ready to rock and roll. And I've got him stored in a couple of my benches on a couple of teams, so I'm hoping he'll come back and have an impact, and I think that's going to impact Hollywood a little bit as well.
Let's go to the quarterback leaderboard here. Josh Allen, in a 38-3 win, still throws for 424 yards. I mean, this guy is just everything proof at this point. He throws for 424, 4 touchdowns, a pick, and ran for another 42 yards, 35.16 points there. And the gap between him and number 2, Geno Smith, 24.02. So I got to talk to you about Geno. Cousins was number 3 at 22. Wentz at 21.86. My recommendation for Carson Wentz, if you stream quarterbacks and redraft and he's playing a bad team, you play him. The guy accumulates numbers. He chucks the ball down the field. Real life quarterback, horrible. Fantasy quarterback, spectacular in the right matchup. Don't play him against good defenses. Fire him up against bad defenses and do it in DFS as well. Jalen Hurts right now is the number 5 scoring quarterback at 20.5. He's definitely in the mix to pass Josh Allen today. Let me get your thoughts on Geno Smith going forward, though, who right now is in the number 2 spot.
Their defense is so bad, Holden, that he's going to have to continue throwing the football. And whether or not Rashad Penny plays or not, or maybe they start to turn it over to Kenneth Walker if Rashad Penny's out for some time. I know he went down with an injury today, and it's been a nice story where he's been pretty good so far here in the first couple of weeks of the season. But with Geno, he's getting his opportunity. He looks like a different guy than we saw early in his career with the New York Jets and even other places as well when he's gotten an opportunity. But again, that defense is just so bad in Seattle, just so putrid at this point, so far away from the Legion of Boom. It's not even funny that I think Geno is going to be a guy that could consistently make a play to be, I'm not going to say a top 5 fantasy quarterback at the end of the year when it's all said and done, but put him in the top 15 because he's going to have to accumulate some yards, and they're going to have to try to throw this thing to keep themselves in football games moving forward. And you have 2 good weapons there. We talked about Tyler Lockett. DK Metcalf is still there, and those guys want to play well and they want to have some pride. So yeah, I'm on Geno Smith the rest of the year just because the defense is so bad, and he's going to have to throw it up, just kind of like we saw with the recently retired Blake Bortles years ago.
Yeah, he's got to be. It doesn't matter that his name is Geno Smith. You just take Geno Smith name off it, put the numbers there. You're saying, oh, that's a quarterback 1. That's a really good quarterback. Loser board at quarterback. I didn't have any of these guys, but I'm just looking at some of the names. Jared Goff came back down to earth. He's outside. He finally had a test. We're not playing Jared Goff unless it's at home against a bad team. Okay. 5.86 points today, 229, no touchdowns, and an interception. Who's on the loser board for you at quarterback?
It was the guy you just talked about. I cannot figure out in my one league how to stream a quarterback appropriately. I had Jared Goff the week he went absolutely bananas. What was that, last week? And I literally tinkered around Holden on game day and took him out, dropped him, picked up Marcus Mariota. I thought his matchup was going to be better. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, DJ Chark, all those guys were out. So I didn't feel confident about him going in there. And then Mariota shits the bed, and Jared Goff is quarterback number 1. This week, I go back and I switch it. And this week, Mariota goes off and has a decent. It didn't go off, but he had a decent game against a really tough defense there in Tampa Bay. So I can't seem to get him right. He's bad. I assume a lot of us don't have any shares of Davis Mills, but he wasn't very good. You know, we got Cooper Rush and Baker Mayfield playing right now, and both those guys haven't really done a ton so far in these games.
That's just horrible. Absolutely horrible play there from Davis Mills. He's just gone backwards. But Texans fans are complaining. It's like, what did you expect? You're supposed to be the worst team out there this year. Dameon Pierce has been a gold mine, a fantasy gold mine. I got to get back. I got to get back to his running back because he ran for 100 yards. If he didn't, he was right there. He's getting involved in the passing game once again. Let's see rushing yard leaders this week. Ooh, there's a big one. Dameon Pierce, 99 yards, 3 catches for 14, and he got in the box. So 17.3. He's been a revelation for this team. Yeah, he's like the modern day Arian Foster. I don't know if he's going to be as good, but he came from nowhere and boom, he's burst onto the scene.
Yeah, I love Dameon Pierce. I tried to get as many shares of him as I could. And I know, look, I like to do my drafts like literally the week or so before the season starts, so we can weed out injuries and we can know who's who and who's going to be playing where. And if you drafted like a month prior to the season starting, you were probably able to get this guy way back in drafts. But as it sits, I was able to get him as my like running back 3 in a lot of my leagues, and I absolutely love the production that he's putting out there. Sometimes you got to listen to all the noise coming out of camp of, hey, this guy's really good. This guy's going to be our guy. They, got rid of Marlon Mack, and we've seen Marlon Mack doesn't really have it anymore. We had the Rex Burkhead thing that was something for a week, and everybody freaked out. Oh my God, why is it Dameon Pierce playing? And the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been incredible, and they've been sort of leaning on him, even though they're bad. But he's still fantasy relevant, and he's been great for me. I don't know how much you've taken of him or if you've bet on him a lot so far this year.
I'm in a redraft lead, actually, with our boy Fensty Fensterman, who's on the channel too. We've been doing it for like 20 years. I think Fensty came over 7 or 8 years ago. Anyways, been doing this dynasty thing forever. I had the 5th overall pick. I'm saying to myself, all right, Dameon Pearson. I took him there. I took him in my high stakes league. I only play 3 redraft leagues, and there's Scott Fishbowl. So only 3 of them. I got him on 2 or 3 teams. I absolutely love the kid. And I remember after week 1, Jabroni hit me up going, Trevor Lawrence for Dameon Pierce. And then I reminded myself, why do I play redraft? What am I doing? We got to kick this guy out of the league. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Terrible Titans defense. Running back returns from gunshot. How did he not get in the end zone? Oh, Robinson, the kid Robinson. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Better boss. Hit us up in the comments. You got anything to say? By all means. What are you sweating right now? What killed you today? What'd you love today? We'll find out. Hit the like button too. It's a fun button. Excuse me. Hit the fun button. We love having fun. Hit the fun button. This is the Bettor Zone. He's Greg Larnard. My name's Holden Kushner. Stick around.
Bettor Zone.
Oh, you got to make that catch, Rondale.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
JL, I think this is the game everyone's been waiting for, and the moment in this game that we are probably going to have to talk about for at least the next 15 minutes. The Miami Dolphins took down the Buffalo Bills 21-19, and we got to talk about it. The play of the game, the butt punt.
The butt punt.
Punted straight into Trent Sherfield's abyss between his legs is where that
booty
football
patootie.
It was straight up there. It could not have been aimed better up that Tuchus. Like, he just went for it. Like, you look at the picture, shout out USA Today photographer that caught that image, because wow, moment of impact, and you can really see just how well aimed between the cheeks that ball was. And Craig said, did y'all see Mark Sanchez's tweet to the punter? I did. Mark Sanchez tweets, stay out of my lane, bro.
That's pretty good.
I love all these self-aware tweets yesterday. Mark Sanchez, Orlovsky, like they're just coming in and like poking fun at themselves.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
Speaking of TV, last night I tried to watch Aaron Judge.
Did you watch the K-Rod broadcast?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like I went to ESPN Plus and I'm like, I want to watch this K-Rod thing because they had Roger Clemens and they had Barry Bonds on.
Nice.
At the same time, Bonds brought up when Clemens hit him on his piece of armor. And
yeah,
Clemens
exactly.
like, oh, it was a strike, man. It was a strike.
No,
like,
Clemens was like, if you wear, and I don't blame Clemens, if you wear that thing, right, that piece of armor, and you on top of the plate like that, target practice. I'm gonna see if I can hit that joint.
But dude, it was, and he was. I mean, Clemens, it was a strike. Get off the plate. Is basically what he said.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the plate.
Can you imagine the three of them? Like you're Michael Kay, and you're sitting there with Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, and Roger. Three guys who should be in the Hall of Fame and are not. Like who should have been like first ballot slam dunk Hall of Famers.
That's the problem. That's the problem with the game.
We should get them on the show. All three of them together on this show.
That'd be cool. Corey Nando and friends. They're the friends.
We're the friends. I mean, why not, right? They seem like nice guys.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
I just started watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix last night, which I knew a
Oh,
lot.
that looks pretty freaky, man. Is it as frightening and kind of eerie as it looks?
Yeah, it's disturbing. Like, you know, there's no.
You think he ate people, Ray? It better be disturbing.
Well,
to you.
I know the story. He ate people and I murders. I knew, but I didn't know he was drunk all the time. And
Well, Ray,
still,
I mean, we've all been there. You get the munchies when you're
Right.
drunk. That would be actually a defense in court. Your Honor, I was drunk the whole time. I was hungry and I needed food, and my neighbor was there.
Right.
What am I supposed to do?
and he had like beer cans all over his place. There was a lot of Miller and Bud. I guess he was not only was he a person of opportunity with the killings, he was a beer drinker of opportunity. Because I don't think you normally do one and the other. You should do one or the other.
I don't want to tell AB or Miller how to do their business, but don't go marketing that Jeffrey Dahmer loved your beer while he was eating kidneys.
Snap back. Cowboys bring 5. Hits the crosser. Cooper Kupp, one-handed catch. Off to the races, 30. Midfield, there goes Kupp. Needs the block, gets it. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Cooper Kupp. Touchdown, LA!
Pollard, right up the middle, Tony Pollard, breaking free, Pollard, cuts back, Pollard, all the way, touchdown, Dallas!
How's your fantasy team performing today? Where's your action? What's on the game day menu? The Bettor Zone is the place to celebrate your passion for football on Bettor Sports Network.
Okay, we heard the Pollard touchdown coming back, 57-yard touchdown run, 16-10 Cowboys over the Rams. Matt Stafford, 11 of 20. It's not great, 185 and a touchdown. He's going to have to throw a ton today. The running game just not getting going. Cam Akers, 11 for 31. Show bet right now, Cooper Kupp, over 8.5 receptions. That thing's going to be 7.5 at halftime if he doesn't pick one up here before halftime, just so you know. Holden Kushner, Greg Larnard, hanging out with you today for the next couple hours. We'll preview Sunday Night Football before that gets going. Also want to remind you, you can download the free Bettor Sports Network app. Just download it. It's free. It's great. Join the show. Register. Join the show. Call in. Chat. Get the contest. We got contests. We're giving great stuff away. All you got to do is push a button. It's really simple. Very simple, as a matter of fact. All right, Greg, what are we seeing here in these 3 games? We got a 16-10 Cowboys lead over the Rams coming down on halftime. We'll see if the Rams can get into the field goal position. Oh, I forgot this. And I also reminded myself to do this, and I still didn't do it. Jalen Hurts has scored a first touchdown 4 straight games now. 4 straight games, 4 times this year, I should say. Jalen Hurts has scored the first touchdown in the game. So keep that in mind. It's no guarantee it happens again next week, but when you're betting first touchdowns, you're not getting anything less than, plus 400, I guess, 500 usually. If you ever want to talk about betting first touchdowns, because you don't just bet one guy, but I think in the case of Jalen Hurts, betting one guy in that game going forward is probably a pretty good thing. 14-7, Eagles over the Cardinals. There's a $1.48 to play in the first half, and the Cardinals are charging. So 2 rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. And then we got the Niners and the Panthers. I don't think this Baker Mayfield thing's going to get done for me. Mayfield, 118 passing yards. We got him at under 196.5. McCaffrey's not doing too much. He is through the air, 4 catches, 30 yards, 29, make it 34 yards rushing now. And on the other side, Jimmy G with a touchdown pass to Tevin Coleman. Come on, give me a break. Kittle's alive, 5 for 47. And Deebo Samuel has done nothing. A carry for 9 yards and 5 targets, no catches. So they've been locking him down. Greg, give me the lowdown on these 3 games. What are some of the things you're seeing from them?
Well, I'm sweating right now in terms of this Cardinals-Eagles game. We need to get over 24.5 here for this first half for our bet to hit. So I'm happy that the Cardinals are marching a little bit here towards the end of the half. They obviously want to get into the end zone. They want to tie this thing up. They need to do that for me, and it's nice to see Kyler Murray sort of getting into a little bit of a rhythm here towards the end of the first half. He really hadn't been in much of a rhythm, so that's been good to see as they kind of hurry up here a little bit. I love that they're getting Zach Ertz involved in moving the football. I love those black helmets, by the way. with the Cardinal on them. They look sharp there at home. There's another good completion. The other one, when it comes to the Rams and the Cowboys, it's nice to see the Rams actually moving the football a little bit here. They had the fake punts with the punter. They obviously, Sean McVay loves to do that. They did it with Johnny Hecker a ton, as he just overthrows the running back to Stafford. And then when it comes to the other one, Holden, I mean, the 49ers and the Panthers, there's really not much to talk about there. You kind of went through it. They're not getting Deebo Samuel involved all that much, but they're still winning the football game, and they will win this football game by a wide margin because the Panthers simply can't play offense, and they're just real bad. And I hope that Baker Mayfield stays under for you, although he's up to $1.22
now. That thing's
so.
dead. Unless he gets hurt, that thing is dead. The good thing is the other bets are looking good, but he's Dunsky. I don't think he's.
Hey, I'm hoping we're going to stay under here for the 14.5 points that I have Carolina at team total for this game. And it went down. I just looked in the last break and it went down to 10.5 now live. So we're trending in the right direction. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, they're probably going to end up kicking a field goal here. They had a they're going for it on 4th and 1 and they got it. Oh boy, CMC just got in the end zone and it is now 17-9 with the extra point pending. So a little ballsy call. There is a flag down, so you might get lucky. It might come back, buddy.
Hold on.
Unless you're ahead of me, that thing might be coming back. So hang on. But oh boy, it'll be interesting to see if they call it back. So Christian McCaffrey, we've been waiting to just blow up this whole season, right? Personal foul defense, it's a touchdown. So Panthers on the board there. 17-9. Niners lead the Panthers. McCaffrey now with 11 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown. He's also got 4 catches for 31 yards. Speaking about him in fantasy going forward, like how comfortable are you rostering CMC for the rest of the season given the injury concerns?
Not super concerned at this point. Look, I didn't have an opportunity to draft him very high. I think they're doing a better job at trying to keep him fresh here this season. And they've obviously got Chuba Hubbard. They've got Deonta Foreman there as well to sort of spell him. And I know he has a lot of that he has a lot of that timeshare in the backfield, but not super concerned about him going forward. Just more concerned about that Panthers offense, honestly, Holden, that they're just so bad that he's not going to get a lot of opportunities to put up points because Baker Mayfield's just so inept. So there's that as they're going for 2 right now.
Didn't work out.
And
didn't work out.
Okay,
so
you're a little ahead of me.
14-9 there. You're at 14.5. So basically 2 field goals or a touchdown that sinks you, but it's the San Francisco defense and it's Baker Mayfield under center. So I wouldn't be as concerned as you look right now, is what I would say. And then Kyler Murray's on the doorstep here. Cardinals got 1 timeout. They got 10 seconds left. They're at the 1.5 yard line of the Eagles, looking to tie this thing up. Very interesting. They'll go for it here. And your total. This is it. They get in, you win, right?
Yep, this is it. They got to get in here.
I'll sweat this out with you then. Let's go. Let's go.
Right, sweat it out with me. Come on.
That's
come on, baby.
Oh, what a horrible.
You're ahead of me. You're ahead of me. So don't.
Sorry. Kyler Murray sucks. I'm just gonna say it right
he's
now.
Not very good.
What a horrible. I don't know whose contract is worse, him or Russell Wilson. Seriously, I mean, at least Kyler's young, so maybe there's a chance. But between him playing Call of Duty and Russ wanting to be a celebrity, I think both of these guys, a lot of question marks about him right now.
So you're not riding with Russell?
No, he can ride his ass out of here. All of a sudden, it's very convenient. Before the what night did they play? Was that Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday. Before Thursday.
Game.
Oh, his shoulder didn't bother him. Everything was fine. All of a sudden, after Thursday, by the way, Kyler just threw again and he missed. So they're going to kick the field goal here. But all of a sudden, now his shoulder bothers him after that embarrassment on Thursday night. It's very interesting. They don't have a head coach. Their head coach is an idiot. He really is the village idiot. He's not even the head coach anymore. He had to give all the duties to the guy upstairs, this guy, Jerry Rosburg, who's with the Ravens. And now he's the offensive coordinator, acting like he actually does something. So Cardinals looking to go for the field goal here, coming up near the top of the hour. But 3 games are going on right now. And again, Cowboys, Rams. If you're watching this one, Cooper Rush. Does Cooper Rush get to 100 passing yards. 5 of 8, 49 yards. What do you here? I'm going to go look at it right now. I'm going to give you some options. You're going to guess what the yards are in the player props. Okay. Passing props. What do you think Cooper Rush's passing yards prop is right now? It's at 49 yards at halftime.
For the game, let's go with 120.
155.5. Maybe you should bet the under there.
Wow.
They're thinking he's going to have to chuck the ball a lot more in the second half. That is a lot of yards. That's 106 yards for Cooper Rush. Oof. All right. Let me get to the next one here. The next one would be Cam Akers rushing yards. He's at 31 at halftime. What do you think they set it at?
So bad.
Yeah, he is bad.
I'm gonna say they set it at, let's go 61.
48.5. So that's an over for you?
Yeah, I'll take the over.
I can't tell if that's an over or you just are really bad at setting lines. And I should have.
I'm probably just really bad at setting lines.
You're bad at setting lines?
It's not a bad thing. I'm not going to be working in Vegas.
I'm bad at a lot of things. So
I've never even been to Vegas.
Don't go. It's a completely worthless place. It's a hellhole. I can't stand Vegas. I'm serious. Well, if you like to party, Vegas is a great place. If you're just,
I got to go once.
Yeah, you should go once. You're right. You should go once. I lived there when I was 25 and single. So it was awesome for a while. And then it just got to the point to where I was broke. There was people looking for me. The women, it was just, it was too much, buddy. Good talk. Good times. All right, let's do the last thing. Baker Mayfield passing yards. Okay. Right now, Baker Mayfield, what was he sitting at? 122. What do you think his live prop is right now? He's at 122.
They're going to have to throw to get back into this game, I assume. I mean, they're only down, 8 at this point? So I'm going to say game, let's go 215.
218.
All right, there we go.
Nailed that one. I almost want to double down. I'm going to be so pissed off if I lose it. But I almost want to double down on this thing and get back in it. I mean, we are, San Francisco with the ball, just under 12 left in the third quarter. And Baker Mayfield is not a guy that usually sniffs 218 yards in a game. He has come out and he's done some nice stuff early on here, and he's probably going to have to throw, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to have to.
I'm beating myself up on this one, Greg.
I feel like this is one that if you play it, you're going to lose both of them. But if you don't play it, then of course it's not going to happen. Yes, and you only lose one
of them.
Yeah.
You're also getting plus $1 and a quarter on him to throw a touchdown pass. If you're interested in that. All right, wrapping up hour number 1.
I don't want that.
Yeah, wrapping up hour number 1. Make sure tomorrow you check out the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Then we got Moose and Keith coming up. Mark Malusis, Keith Azari. Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, fantasyguru.com. Always love Kyle and Ray, and a whole bunch of shows from top to bottom here. Great stuff on the Bettor Sports Network. This is the Bettor Zone. He's Greg. I'm Holden. Hang out. We do have some guests coming up here later on the show, which is about 4 minutes from right now. Eric Balkman, Fantasy Football Players Championship, the FFPC, big time fantasy contest. Let's get his thoughts next on the Bettor Zone.
Bettor Zone. Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
We got to get a team in Honolulu. Like, what about that, Ray? You think Oakland? Like, nobody's talking about Honolulu for the Oakland A's to move to. How badass would that be to have a Major League Baseball team? Instead, they want to go to like where it's 120 degrees in the desert of Vegas.
Right.
Ray, they should pick up and go to Honolulu. That would be epic right there for the A's.
They could go to Honolulu, and instead of playing 12 games against a team throughout the course of the year, you just play a 12-game set. Just get it done.
What's the flight from the Bay Area? 4 hours?
It's depending which direction you're going, it's 5.5.
Okay, that's not terrible. You'd have to manage the schedule a bit,
right?
but it's doable. Like, you play your West Coast games, and then maybe you give an extra day. Like, you play in San Francisco through Sunday, and then you have your Monday off. Everybody gets their Monday off, and then they play, out in Hawaii for 4 games. Then they come back for the weekend.
It's very similar time-wise for us in California, in the Bay Area, to go to Hawaii as it is to go to New York. It's very similar. So, yeah, like you're saying, Giants do that to go to the Mets. The A's do that to go to the Yankees. They do it, so it would be very similar.
They would be they've already got the baseball background. I mean, they're dominant. The island loves their baseball. And Ray, you could even rebrand the team from the Oakland A's to the Oakland Lays. You can do the Lays, Ray. Look at that.
Good. That's actually, there's no way that would ever happen, but that's pretty good, Kyle. On the fly.
I'm giving away like free marketing right here.
Good work.
Right on the show.
The plan is for them to stay here, but the fans hate them. I don't know if the city likes them. They can't. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know. The plan
There's
is
a lot of land in Hawaii. Just think about the views, Ray, of the Pacific. It would put your crap ballpark in San Francisco to shame. Like, everybody thinks that's a good view.
Right.
They'd have like waterfalls and real palm trees and the Pacific Ocean.
People
like,
trolling fire in the 7th inning
They would
stretch.
make the Giants Park look like, the vet in Philly. It would look that awful if they moved to Hawaii.
And then you go to your flip-flops or shorts. They serve Mai Tais. They give Lays away. Or, the first 5,000 fans, whatever.
Well, everybody in the chat room loves it. Every time I get a compliment, I don't bring it up on the show.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't want to be that guy.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Bettor Sports Network.
Toss to McCaffrey, running right side. Got a great block from Moton. McCaffrey cuts it inside the 10, 5, touchdown.
Murray in an empty set, in shotgun, takes the snap. 3-step drop, looks over the middle, throws, and it's caught by Brown. First down, makes a man miss at the 15, cuts right to the 10, and Brown is into the end zone for the touchdown. Hollywood Brown has been spectacular.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
Arnold's in here with us from ESPN Chattanooga, midday host, right, Greg? It's good to have you on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. We're gonna have Eric Balkman from our high stakes show here on the Bettor Sports app. But we did have Dave Poland chiming in here. We're talking about Las Vegas. You've never been to Las Vegas, right? And I say it's a cesspool, but you're right. You need to go, one time before you die. He goes, doesn't Las Vegas have good dining? That's the one thing I got to give it. There's good dining, very good dining, good dining. I mean, outside of that, again, it's just not for me. It's one of the worst places in America to bet sports. The menu is just absolutely awful. It's very difficult if you're from out of town to even get a chance to get an app and bet. I was so frustrated when I was there. So you won't be seeing me watching football out in Vegas anytime soon. But Eric Balkman, FFPC, host of the High Stakes Fantasy Football Show, Wednesdays, 10 o'clock Eastern to midnight as Jimmy G rolls in for a touchdown. But nope, they're going to call that off. Anyways, Eric, thanks for the time. Good afternoon. It's been a busy day. What's paying off for you today, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, obviously having Josh Allen and Gabriel Davis only on one team together has been good, but it should have been great. I wish I would have paired more of those guys, or that unit up together on more of my teams. But it is what it is. I mean, it's an interesting week so far, as the NFL always is. And obviously, you start off the day with the Packers offense looking pretty good in the first half and looking terrible in the second half. That sort of set the stage for a lot of crazy stuff. Josh Allen putting up a game's worth of stellar play in one half against the Steelers. Derrick Henry catching a couple of passes, getting in the end zone, putting up numbers again. Saquon Barkley obviously looking very good again today. And you had, the Taysom Hill show in New Orleans, which was fun to watch too, unless you were going against him at fantasy, then maybe not so much all that fun. But it's been a fun day, been a wild day.
What you got, Greg?
Yeah, it certainly has been. Eric, just quick, we were talking a little bit about Rashad Penny earlier in terms of his value and him going down and, kind of thinking about who might be the next man up there and Kenneth Walker. How much do you believe in him going forward if Penny can't come back and is down for a couple of weeks or, gosh forbid, the season?
Yeah, the Seattle backfield was something that I thought was pretty interesting that fantasy owners are going to have to try to get right during drafting season because, depending, like in the FFPC, you could draft as early as January. So obviously a huge part of drafting season, Chris Carson was in the picture, right? And he didn't retire till several months into the offseason. So you had Chris Carson, you had Rashad Penny, and then you had Ken Walker. Now that backfield is down to like Ken Walker, DJ Dallas, and Travis Homer if he's healthy, So it's Walker. And I think the biggest complaint that people had about him coming out of Michigan State and going to Seattle was he didn't really have a whole lot of experience catching balls at Michigan State. So I totally believe in him as a runner. I think that Seattle offense is being underrated by a lot of people out there right now. And when it comes to Walker, it's just like, even if he catches a couple of passes a game, he's still probably going to be a top 20, top 25 running back, unless he's, facing like a death matchup or something like that. He's going to get all he can eat there right now. And he's going to get a lot of action. And I do believe in him as definitely a player that you can start penciling in and maybe even using Penn into your flex or your second running back spot going forward here.
All right, let me catch you up on a couple things here. It looks like Deebo Samuel got into the end zone. So we got a 23-9 lead for San Francisco. We're going through the leaderboard. We do it a lot here on the show. So let me ask you, Josh Allen leading the way, 35 points. The guy we're talking about, what was the final score? 38-3, a 35-point game. He still threw for 424 yards. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, and now Jalen Hurts, the top five. Hurts is going to end up either one or two. Talk to me here. Geno Smith going forward. You buying into this?
I wasn't initially, but now we have 5 weeks worth of data on this. This is not a fluke. This is a trend. This is something that we have to seriously look at going forward. And you think about people who maybe had Dak Prescott on their teams, right? And he goes down right away. Maybe you picked up Jared Goff, maybe you picked up Geno Smith, and now you're going to have to seriously make some tough calls going forward. Is Geno Smith the guy I'm going to play in week 6 over Dak Prescott? I think you have to believe in him. He's got proven talent on the perimeter in Lockett and DK Metcalf. Will Dissly has looked pretty decent so far. And there's been a couple other tight ends in Seattle that have really helped out Geno Smith as well. The thing is he's what did Pete Carroll say? I think the phrase said he does what we ask him to do or whatever, what the offense dictates that he does. And he's running the offense. I think he started the percentage, which is crazy to think about. But at this point, I mean, if you are deciding between Geno Smith and maybe like an Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that who's sort of been underperforming, I think Matthew Stafford's another one. You almost have to break ties in favor of Geno Smith right now. It's not like the defense is unbelievable. That in Seattle, that's going to lead to a lot of slobber knocker under type scoring. There's going to be some shootouts with Seattle this year, and Geno Smith has looked great. And I think that I am a believer in him going forward as well.
Sticking with the quarterbacks, Eric, the guy that was there before, Holden obviously knows him very well now out in Denver, and Russell Wilson. Is it time to, I don't know if it's time to cut bait with a talent like Russell Wilson. You kind of had to hold out hope that he'll figure it out there with that talent, those talented pieces on the offense. I mean, you just talked about the talented pieces that Geno Smith has, and Geno Smith is doing well with those talented pieces around him because he's asking, he's just doing what they ask him to do. What about Russell Wilson? Where are you on him? Is it time to cut him? Do you just bet? What do you do with Russell Wilson right now?
Yeah, I think it depends upon the league that you're in. And obviously, if you're playing in like a 10-team league with shallow benches, yeah, I think you can make a case for cutting Russell Wilson. I think the thing that's really scaring me and the report that we heard, I think Tom Pelissero had this, that he got the shoulder injection to relieve pain in his throwing shoulder. And this was something that knocked Dak Prescott out, again, in the preseason, but for like a month. And Wilson's going to try to play through this. The fact that this offense just can't seem to get on the same page, and whether that's a Wilson issue or a Hackett issue or an issue with some of the skill position players, I don't know. All I know is it's not working. Now you're going to throw in an injury into this situation as well. I like to in my teams when I play in mostly 12-team 20-man roster league, so fairly deep. When I have a quarterback that I view as elite, I usually just keep just one quarterback on my roster. Russell Wilson has gotten that treatment through the first month of the season. I don't think I can give him that treatment anymore. You can't continue to trot Russell Wilson out there and think that this is the week that Russell cooks. This is the week that the Denver Broncos click and put up 40 points or something like that. I don't think we can do that anymore. And I think that it's going to be one of those things where if you have Wilson on your team, he is probably going to be, or at least he should be, on your bench for that first breakout game. And then once he shows that he can do it, then maybe you can put him back in there, maybe right away the next game. But for right now, I got to look for other options. A scuffling offense, a coach that seems in over his head, and now a shoulder injury. These are not good ingredients to letting Russ cook.
All right, let's go look at tight end here. Taysom Hill, number one on the day, 34 points, 3 touchdowns. I mean, are you kidding me here? Also fumbled. Adam Troutman, his teammate, David Njoku, Daniel Bellinger, Evan Engram. 2 guys I want you to talk about, though. These are the top 5 today. And Engram didn't have a monster day, but he did get targeted 10 times, 6 catches for 60 yards, right? So that's what, really 12 in PPR. So 12 PPR. Of the 5, Taysom, Troutman, and Njoku, Bellinger, Engram. Is Njoku number 1 and worth starting in your league? Would you have any of the other 4 right now?
Well, in the FFPC, it's a tight end premium format. So these guys are pretty valuable since you get 1.5 points per catch. And David Njoku is a guy that we loved seeing what they did, what Cleveland did. As if you're invested in Njoku, you love seeing how much they paid him in the offseason. Then we hear, he has the clunker. And then we hear from Kevin Stefanski that there's going to be some games where he has to block, and there's going to be some games that he's going to catch a bunch of balls. I don't, want to have to try to decipher that every single week, but he has been pretty consistent over the last few weeks now. And I think he's a guy that you can consider a top 10 tight end going forward. I know I've played him over some of my other options this week, Robert Tonyan, Gerald Everett, guys, if you waited on tight end in your league and you ended up with Njoku, a guy who was drafted pretty far down, you can actually feel pretty confident starting him at tight end. I mean, what's the narrative we've heard about tight end in fantasy football seemingly for like the last 10 years? Like, unless you have a top 3, it's a wasteland. And it's really difficult to predict week-to-week production from these tight ends. I think he can with Njoku a little bit. Engram's another interesting guy, too, because this was a player that obviously was pedigreed coming out of college, has had problems staying on the field. But I know plenty of smart people, smarter people than I am. A lot of high-stakes players have been drafting Evan Engram as their second tight end or even their third tight end on their roster. And I think because he is getting so much attention from Trevor Lawrence, I think he's definitely worth rostering. I'm not confident enough to know when is the right week to start him, but I definitely want to keep him on my roster, especially in a tight end premium format. You want to keep a guy like that around. So when your starter like Njoku or Kelsey or Andrews or whoever is on bye, you don't have to go dumpster diving for like Noah Fant or Will Dissly or whoever it is, the top guy off the waiver wire. You can plug Evan Engram in there. Taysom Hill is interesting. I'll just briefly touch on this. I have a buddy who actually events playing for $1 million this year, and they're off to an okay start. But the problem is they've had some issues with their starting lineup. They have not been able to nail down their starting lineup. So he's sending me text today complaining about Taysom Hill on his bench. I'm like, well, dude, where did this Taysom Hill thing come from? Like, did you get inside info that he was going to be this involved in the game plan? I certainly didn't. I didn't see the tweets. I didn't see anybody talking about this. He did have, he has been involved in the rush game basically every single week to a point. 4 carries, 3 carries, 5 carries. He got 81 yards rushing the first game. He's gotten into the end zone 2 different times before this. I guess you can make a case that, okay, he is a part of this offense. But at the same time, you really can't count on him for this anywhere close to this production. So I think this Hill thing was fun, but I certainly wouldn't advise anybody. I'd probably see if I could find a spot on my roster for him, but I certainly wouldn't advise anybody starting him, even at home against the Bengals next week.
Yeah, I love Taysom Hill. It's such a Swiss Army knife, just getting an opportunity to do a lot of different things there. And it's fun when things work out and he actually does play well. But I wanted to take it back to the running backs just for a second. And that's a position that Taysom plays a little bit of there in New Orleans. But a guy that's been killing me, and I know killing a lot of other people in their fantasy leagues this year, is A.J. Dillon on my Green Bay Packers. And going into the season, it was a lot of, hey, he's going to kind of take over the lead role there. He's going to get a lot of the goal line carries. Aaron Jones might kind of be getting pushed aside. He hasn't really produced at all for this offense, hasn't been catching as many balls out of the backfield, hasn't really been getting a lot of goal line carries. What do you make of A.J. Dillon so far, 5 games into the season?
Yeah, this was something. I'm based in Northeast Wisconsin, so I obviously follow the Packers pretty closely. And if we go back to the preseason and even training camp, Matt LaFleur used the term 1A and 1B for who the starting running back is this year, or is going to be this year between Jones and Dillon. Now, Dillon basically has had more carries every single game this season. I don't think he did today. I think Aaron Jones had more than Dillon today. But I thought this was going to be a Dillon game, especially the way it was shaping up. Packers go into halftime up 20-10. Maybe they get a score earlier in the third quarter, and Daniel Jones has to make plays with his arm, which he did anyway. But I thought the Packers would utilize Dillon a little bit more than they did. 6 carries for 34 yards is not good. And certainly anybody who drafted Dillon as God forbid your second running back, but maybe like your top flex, been pretty disappointed so far. The fact from what we saw from Dillon today, I said all week, I said, if Dillon can't do it against the Giants defense in a game the Packers should be controlling, I'm not really going to have faith starting him going forward, because this is just simply an equation that's not working out for the Packers or fantasy owners. But the Green Bay was forced to actually make some plays in the second half today, and Aaron Rodgers didn't get it done. And as a result, you had the Packers defense on the field for so long. Then the Packers were trying to come back at the end. That's not really Dillon's game. So I think at that point, the narrative changed for me a little bit. He gets the Jets next week. I mean, I would look for a better option, but if you drafted him in, the 6th, 7th round or wherever he was going, you may not have a better option. You may have to ride this out unless you can pick up, one of these running backs off the waiver wire that might have the opportunity to you think about Jeff Wilson a couple of weeks ago. Maybe you have him. He's a much better option than A.J. Dillon right now. But those are the types of guys I would be looking at right now. I don't know if the Packers have the answers, guys. I certainly don't have the answers on Dillon right now either.
Eric Balkman hosts the High Stake Fantasy Show. That's Wednesdays, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. So we had a little conversation about Kyler Murray. Who the hell is this guy anymore? He doesn't run very much. I'm about to sit here and place an over rushing prop on him. He doesn't run much anymore. He's not very accurate quarterback, but we just want him to rack up points in fantasy. Where is he in the tier of quarterbacks right now? He's not tier 1. Is he in tier 2? Is he a top 10 fantasy quarterback? Who is Kyler Murray right now?
He's, in my opinion, he's definitely top 10.
Okay.
I wouldn't put him on, the Mahomes, Jackson, Allen tier or anything like that. But I think at least the potential of him using his legs keeps him in the second tier. But you're right. I mean, if he doesn't start, utilizing those a little bit more going forward, then you're probably going to have to drop him down to sort of that Brady, Stafford, Rodgers tier, right? Because it's if you have the talent to do something, that's great, but you still got to do it for fantasy purposes. Now, a lot of people who drafted Kyler Murray drafted him as their number 1, and they maybe didn't draft a backup, or maybe they're just, I invested so much draft capital into him. That's the guy I'm going to be playing every week. But, if things don't turn around, and maybe they will when the Cardinals get DeAndre Hopkins back. I know Rondale Moore is playing a little bit beat up right now as well, and AJ Green's been out. So maybe when they get the full force back together, things turn around for Murray. I think that's a significant if at this point. So if you have him, you're starting him and hoping him for the best. But yeah, certainly you're having limited expectations, or at least dialed down expectations from what you thought you were going to get when you drafted Kyler Murray back in September.
All right.
Let's look at the game. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go for it, Greg. Let's get one more in there, and then we'll head out of here. By the way, I just hit a couple of props. I just hit Kyler over 8.5 rushing yards and CD over 63. So Kyler's got to run, man. At some point in time, if they're getting their asses kicked today, he's going to have no choice but to run. 8.5 yards is one run. So we'll see we'll see. This is the tiebreaker for Kyler. Lose week 1, won it last week. This could be the last time that we back the lull guy. But go for it, Greg. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Just wanted to throw one more out there for tonight's game. Is there anything, I don't know how big of a betting guy you are, Eric, but I wanted to see if there was any plays out there that you liked for this game on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I'm not a huge, I as much as I love football and betting and like props, I've never got, for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because I'm worried about lineups and waivers and everything. Like I've never really gotten into it a ton. So I have not seen anything tonight. I would say that the height of excitement for pregame for me tonight is going to find out if T. Higgins is active, which I believe he is. But at this point, I kind of, it's a little bit of a gamble starting a guy who's questionable on Sunday Night Football because you don't really have a whole lot of other options to go with if he is a surprise inactive. I think he's going to play. I think that it has been fascinating so far this season to watch how much attention that Joe Burrow has shown Higgins over Jamar Chase. Remember, Chase was like a early to mid-round first pick, and T. Higgins was often falling to the third round. And Higgins has actually been outperforming Chase so far this season. So that's something I'm going to be paying attention to. I think that Burrow has a big night tonight because the Ravens' pass defense not only is beat up, it hasn't been all that great this season. And obviously, if the Bengals are putting up points, that means the Lamar Jackson show should be at the peak of his powers as well. So he should be putting up big points. How can he do it without Rashad Bateman? What does Devin Duvernay do tonight if he is the de facto number one? Is Mark Andrews going to get like 20 targets? I mean, these are all questions we're asking. And I'm obviously fingers crossed that J.K. Dobbins has a good night as this is the first week I'm starting him this season. Wish I would have started him last week. But J.K. Dobbins, I think, is me a fun guy to watch yet tonight, too. All in all, it should be a great Sunday night game against with two AFC North rivals that I think will keep our attention all the way through the fourth quarter.
How many rushing yards for Lamar? Throw a number at us.
How about let's go 67. Does that sound
good? I'm in on 56 and a half. It's
okay.
Up to 59 and a half now, but Lamar's going to have to run his ass off. And I love me some Lamar over rushing props. Not a big over guy, but quarterback rushing props, usually ones that I'll break my rule. Great stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us. One more time, plug the show real quick and we'll get you out of here.
High Stakes Fantasy Football Show airs Wednesday nights, 10 to 12. It's always a fun time, 10 to midnight. And I believe Howard Bender will be guest co-hosting with me this Wednesday night. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Bender. Great. I miss Bender. All right. Take care of yourself. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks guys.
Eric.
All right. Very good. We're going to come back. We'll do a full leaderboard. We'll do a loser board. We'll let you know what's going on around the league. Rondale Moore, welcome to football. He has a nice little catch and run. Big fourth down coming up for the Cards. I don't know if they're going to go for it in their own territory. They're down 17-10 with 8 minutes to go in the third. Matt Stafford looks like garbage. So listen, that's what's happening right now. If you got Higbee, it's terrific. He's option number 2 in that offense, and they're just dumping it down to him all the time. All right, he's Greg. I'm Holden. Stick around. Leaderboard coming up next on the Bettor Zone.
Bettor Zone.
Yeah.
You sound like a jerk.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got hurt.
Body didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
To get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing, And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he'd finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man.
Yeah.
So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
They stack Ray behind Debo left. Jimmy back. Jimmy time. Jimmy throws. It is caught. Touchdown! San Francisco Debo!
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor.
Holden Kushner here, Greg Larner there. We got highlights going on. The Niners are doing good. Debo decided to wake up. He has not been too active today, Greg, but he did get in the box, which is what you need from Debo. He's got 9 targets, 2 catches, 20 yards, and a touchdown, 2 carries for 12 yards. So right now it's not looking great, but Niners lead the Panthers 24-12. And the voice said, "Hey, what are you sweating right now? You're sweating that the Panthers don't get a field goal, correct?"
I'm sweating that, as you are also sweating Baker Mayfield not throwing as many passes and not getting as many yards.
I
mean,
listen,
it's at 153.
Yeah, he's got to get to 196. I mean, they're going to be listen, it's Baker Mayfield, and he totally sucks. But I'm not counting on that one. I do have the Eagles -5. They just sacked Kyler, so I'm down with that. Rams -4.5. Not looking great right now. A lot of time left in that game, especially with Kupp over what? What was the Kupp one? Over 8.5 catches. That was a dumb bet by me. Kyler over 8.5 rush yards. He actually ran. He got 5 yards. That's nice to see. Allen Robinson under 39.5. I'm sweating that one. Where is he sitting at? 1 catch for 6 yards. I mean, listen, he could bust a big one, but that's been very profitable early in the season, just betting unders on Allen Robinson. 2 targets, 1 catch for 6 yards. Something's going on there. Guy's too talented in that offense where he's only throwing to 2 guys. Stafford's throwing to Kupp and Higbee, and now Ben Skowronek. I mean, it's a rough scene right now for Matt Stafford. And you can always bet on him throwing an interception or turning the ball over with a fumble. He hasn't thrown a pick yet, but I think the deeper we get into this game, and if they're trailing big, might be an in-game opportunity to back him there. And then I just, what I found when I was searching through my bets, I had CeeDee Lamb over 63.5. So CeeDee needs to get going. He's got 4 for 42 right now. Tevin Coleman is carrying dudes down to the 1-yard line. So the Niners are about to have a comfortable lead. 19-10 Cowboys over the Rams. If you're into that one, Tony Pollard, 57-yard touchdown run. He's got 4 for 66 and a touchdown. Nothing in the passing game yet. And Cooper Rush is sitting there at 90 yards. 90 yards.
90 points would be amazing.
90 points would not be great because I don't have any of him today.
Well, I'm just saying,
I would definitely not be happy about that, my friend. And then on the other side, Jalen Hurts, again, 4 out of 5 games, first touchdown he's hit. He hit it today, two rushing touchdowns for him. And his favorite target's been Devontae Smith, 8 for 69. A.J. Brown's got 3 for 32. Let's get in a leaderboard here, though. Greg, get your thoughts on quarterback position today. Josh Allen, Geno Smith, Jalen Hurts, 1, 2, and 3. Hurts again mid-game. He still has a chance to catch Josh Allen. So Hurts is at 24. Allen's at 35.16. Then Carson Wentz, number 5. Tom Brady, number 6. Any of these guys interest you today? Any of these guys that you were interested coming into this afternoon that paid off?
I was interested in Tom Brady. He's somebody who I've got a couple of shares of. Look, I wasn't fishing for Tom Brady. I wasn't, trying to get out there getting a 45-year-old quarterback going through a divorce now. But he played well, and he's somebody that I've had to sit a bunch of times early in this season because his pieces have been banged up around him. The offensive line isn't as great as it had been in years past. The weapons are finally getting healthy. I know Julio wasn't there. I'm sure he wanted to play against the Falcons. The Falcons, not as bad as people would have made them out to be at the beginning of the season. They started to play a little bit better under Dean Pease so far this season, but good to see Tom Brady have about 20 points today. And another guy that I'm going to be looking at moving forward here, we talked to Eric Balkman about Russell Wilson. I have Kirk Cousins as one of my backup quarterbacks in one of my leagues with Russell Wilson, and I've got to start really considering putting Kirk Cousins in there. As painful, as sickening as it makes me as a Packer fan feel, I've got to start doing it.
As long as it's a 1 o'clock game, you're fine. Just don't play him any other time. He's great in the 1 o'clock slot. He stinks everywhere else. Huge gain by Goddard from Hurts. All right, let's get into the running back. We'll get your thoughts on the running back. Top 5 today, Austin Eckler went for 173 rushing with a touchdown, 4 catches, 26 yards at a touchdown, so 2 TDs. Let me try and figure this out in all PPR formats here. Oh, he only gets like what, 33.9? Monster day for him. Fournette, he's back. Big Lenny said he'd get in the end zone. He got in the end zone today. Breece Hall, number 3, is taking over that Jets job. Nick Chubb, 4. He went for 134, 2 touchdowns. Henry scored a couple of times, 102 yards on the ground. He's also getting used in the pass game a little more, 2 for 30 this afternoon. Then Dalvin Cook, Raheem Mostert. And here, how about this? I want to talk about something that was crushing to me today. I had Damian Harris props like everywhere, and the guy goes down and gets hurt early in this game. Ramondre Stevenson today, 25 carries, 161 yards, 2 catches for 14. This is what he had to say after the game, after his big day in relief of an injured Damian Harris.
My mindset didn't really change. I knew we had a job to go do, and I knew those guys up front had my back, I had theirs, and we just had to had a job to do. We just knew we had to run the ball well and just be physical. And when Damian went down, I just told him I got his back, and he kind of knew I did and things like that. So just putting it all together, just playing a full 4-quarter game, just trying to be physical.
He's got Harris has a hamstring. I'm thinking for the next few weeks, Ramondre Stevenson is going to be a monster, because not only is he terrific carrying the ball, but receiving, he's a good receiver. And then anytime you're facing Detroit, you're firing up just about everybody, right? Ramondre Stevenson going forward. Talk to me here.
Look, I recently, I was just going to pull this up, and I wanted to talk to you about this coming up in this segment. We were talking about the leaderboard. You mentioned Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously, he filled in for Damian Harrison, as you alluded to. Going to be huge moving forward. Those hamstrings are a fickle mistress. They are not easy to figure out, and there's usually something that's going to keep somebody out a while. In one of my big money leagues, my running back position was terrible, absolutely trash. I had Aaron Jones. I've also got DeAndre Swift. Those are my 2 main running backs. Other than that, I took a flyer on Brian Robinson coming back, was able to pick up Tyler Algier. I got White from Tampa Bay, just like a couple of young guys that you're not really sure if an injury happens, they'd pop off. I recently just made a trade before this week, Holden, to acquire a Ramondre Stevenson for a now hurt Rashad Bateman. So I'm just sitting pretty. I'm so happy I made that move. And now, obviously, don't wish injury on anybody. And I'm sorry that your bets went to shit today, but I am happy that we got Ramondre Stevenson moving forward. And I love this guy. That's right. Say it louder for those in the back.
You're freaking genius over there. Real genius over there. Hey, by the way, this Cowboys-Rams game, really interesting. It's still a 9-point lead for the Cowboys, but the Rams just returned a punt and got it into really good territory here for Los Angeles. So this game could get pretty interesting. Just updating some of the stat lines here. Stafford, mediocre, 18 of 30, 225 and a touchdown. They can't run the ball, can they? I mean, they've got 38 yards on the ground today. No, 12 for 30 for Akers. Cup ran for 4 yards. And Bilal Powell, what's Henderson doing? 3 catches for 15 yards. But you know who else is back? I think Michael Gallup. He shouldn't be on anybody. And I'm talking about, Cooper Kupp going to throw a touchdown here? No. Anyways, he shouldn't be on anybody's bench, right? Michael Gallup. You shouldn't be on the waiver wire. Although this morning I did see a little bit of him on the waiver wire, but Michael Gallup going forward, even with Cooper Rush there, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, this kind of pushes Noah Brown out. I do think there is room for 2 wide receivers on this team, Greg, and I think that Michael Gallup's going to be ascending sooner than later. Dalton Schultz is an afterthought. Brown will get pushed back. I think it's going to be a 2-man band now with Gallup and Lamb.
If I saw this correctly, I think I saw Dalton Schultz or somebody limping around the sideline, so he may be a little bit banged up in this game. I don't know what the status is of him, and he's not doing anything anyway. So that was a big name going into the season that people were really excited about coming into the year at that wasteland of a tight end position. But when it comes to CeeDee and Michael Gallup, that was the reason why they let Amari Cooper go, and because they say, hey, look, we have Michael Gallup here. He is ascending. We feel like he's kind of ready to blossom and come into his own. I'm not sold that Michael Gallup is that guy. He hasn't been healthy enough for me, and he's also been very inconsistent with drops. CeeDee is a very good player. He's still kind of budding. He's a guy that obviously has dealt with a lot of drops as well. I'm not the highest holding on Michael Gallup. I don't have any shares of him anywhere, and I don't really feel comfortable a lot of the times putting him in lineups. So I'm not super high on Michael Gallup and thinking he's going to be this big star and you got to keep him in your lineup, get him in your lineup as much as you possibly can. So I'm kind of off that bandwagon. You sound like you're more on it.
Well, Gallup, yeah, I think once he – and I'm not saying – he's a nice flex, I think, is what we're talking about here. Once Dak comes back, he'll pepper him more. This is game number 2. We're probably going to see about 6 or 7 targets for Gallup, and I'm fine with that. You know, he's still working his way back in. He's a very explosive receiver. And, yeah, I think going forward, Michael Gallup's going to be a guy that at the very least you're going to want to roster, probably a wide receiver 3-4 for the short term, and could ascend a little bit farther than that. Let's talk about a running back, though. Again, Eckler, Fournette, Breece Hall, Chubb, and Derrick Henry are the top 5. Welcome back to earth. Dalvin Cook scored twice, ran for 94 yards. But again, you play your offensive players against Detroit. You play them against Chicago, like what we saw to Dalvin Cook today. But back to Breece Hall. I love me some Michael Carter, who fell in the box a couple of times today. But Breece Hall, 18 carries, 97 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches. And he has taken this backfield over for all intents and purposes. He won't be a bell cow because Carter will still be involved. But here's Breece Hall on his humongous day.
It was a toss crack play, and just I wanted to get downhill and not reach the ball across the end zone again. So my O-line, they played great today. Our receivers blocked great. And me and MC, we just did our thing. You know, the coaches put us in a great position to win, and that's what we did.
Okay. Breece Hall going forward. Guy that I'm targeting, right? I mean, I don't know how much higher can his value get at this point, but Breece Hall's a stud, and I think we're learning that right now. He's a back-end running back one, isn't he?
100%. And I wasn't sure how long it would take him, Holden, to ascend to this place that we find him now near the top of the leaderboard, especially this week. It's sort of the coming out party for Breece Hall. But I'm happy for this kid. I'm happy for that Jets offense. I know Jet fans have been sort of clamoring for a long time to have a competent offense. And it's nice to see that they have this kid here who is going to be a big-time talent. You pair him with Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson as well, and Elijah Moore and some of the other guys that they have there. It's been fun to watch. And yeah, I think he's just going to continue to ascend all the way up. I unfortunately didn't grab any shares of him. I felt like maybe he was being a little overdrafted. I wasn't sure exactly how that Jets offense was going to be. But how about you? Did you have any Breece Hall shares? Have you been able to kind of bask in the glory?
No, but what I was saying while people were drafting was, I think that Michael Carter is just a better value, you know? And I still think Michael Carter is going to get some work down there at the goal line, but picking the Michael Carter week is going to be a lot more difficult than picking the Breece Hall week. This guy is just supremely talented. And I love Michael Carter. Like, I was a big fan of him coming out last year. I still think this guy can be, I don't know if he's an RB1, but you know, if you give him the job by himself, he's probably an RB2. He's a flex option right now, and I had him on my bench, Carter, in my dynasty league. So Yeah, and Carter in the preseason, I had my eyes on him a little bit more. Breece Hall looks like he's taking this job and running. So that's where we are right now. Speaking of running, I need Kyler Murray to get 9 yards or more. He's at 5. He's actually decided to run. They're at the end of the third, and the Eagles lead the Cardinals 17-10. Also need another reception from Zach Ertz. Over 4.5. They post it every week. He goes over it just about every week. So need another catch from Zach Ertz and a few more yards from Kyler Murray. And Jalen Hurts is looking great, and everything is good in the world. Let's go to the quarterbacks then on the leaderboard. And again, top 5. You've got Josh Allen, 424 yards passing, 4 TDs, a pick, ran for 42. Josh Allen, number 1. Jalen Hurts trying to catch him. He's sitting there at 26 right now as they head to the fourth quarter in Arizona against the Cardinals. Then Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz. This is what happens every year, right? It's like, well, why do I not just stream? Unless you get Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, is there somebody I'm missing here? Unless you're getting those big 3 guys, there's got to be somebody else. But why are you not streaming at this point, right? Look at this.
Yeah, you should be. But the problem with streaming is figuring out which of these mediocre quarterbacks, fantasy quarterbacks, are going to have a nice week.
Yeah.
Like we talked about in hour 1, that I last week I had Jared Goff in there and missing a bunch of pieces. I went against my gut and I swapped him with Marcus Mariota, and the Falcons decided to just run the shit out of the football, and Marcus Mariota came away with about 4 points and Goff had about 40. So it can be difficult. And then you think, oh, Jared Goff is the play. It doesn't matter if Amon-Ra is there or not, or Chark or Swift. It doesn't matter. He's going to be great. And you play him this week, and I looked up and he had about, -2 points early on in that game, and didn't get much better from there with the fumble and the interception. It was just, it was sickening to watch him play football against a good team, a good defense, a smart team, a good coordinator, a great head coach. Outside, you mentioned it, in New England as well. That was tough. So yeah, you probably should be streaming if you don't have one of those guys. But again, it's just so hard holding to figure out who is going to be that guy week in and week out with the different matchups. You got to just try to pick and choose.
See, I've always loved streaming. I loved it. But again, I'm only in 3 leagues. It was like, okay, I don't want to screw with streaming. But mine was because I don't want to spend as much time on redraft. It's like betting player props, betting sides and totals at DFS. To be perfectly honest with you, that's why I got a Lamar share and 2 Patrick Mahomes shares. Oh, Mahomes is the other one. But yeah, I mean, in the past, I've had a lot of success with it, right? Streaming. And I think at this point, there's guys that we have figured out that we can stream on a weekly basis. Geno Smith's got to be one of them. He was on nobody's radar. You're talking about streaming Kirk Cousins. I'm fine with that as long as it's in the 1 o'clock hour. Right. Carson Wentz against a horrible team. I think you got to fire him up. I know it's ugly hitting the name, but he did it again. 359, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and he ran for another 15 yards. He has certain matchups that he can succeed, and those certain matchups are against bad teams. You play him against a good team, you're an idiot. You play him against a bad team, I think you're going to be all right. And those are the guys that stepped up this week. I mean, what's it going to take for Zach Wilson to be a streamer? 210 yards. I mean, there was a blowout today, so he didn't have to do much. He doesn't run, but he ran for a touchdown. Herbert is a guy that has not, lived up to expectations, partly because the injury, partly because the numbers just haven't been there. And then anybody that drafted Matthew Stafford has got to be kicking themselves right now, Greg. So 100%. There are some streaming options out there. And I think we've definitely found the Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff at home. That to me, I'm fine streaming those guys, and Carson Wentz against a bad team.
I'm a little disappointed here. I don't want to ask you a question as the Carolina Panthers.
No. You're talking about the Panthers. Go ahead.
Yeah, just kicking away my bet there, my straight bet, as the over just hit on their team total. Unfortunately, as they kicked the field goal again, they're down by 15 at this point. Why are we going for a field goal with 7 minutes left? You gotta go.
Blew through his prop. Baker threw for 215. The game's still going. So we both crapped that one away. We
certainly did.
Turn this game off. Let's go. Let's just stick with the Eagles.
It's terrible. But let me ask you this question real quick, fantasy-wise, when it comes to quarterbacks. Where are you going forward on Kenny Pickett? I know he had Buffalo and a lot of empty numbers with the 327 passing yards, no touchdowns, the whole thing. It was, a little bit difficult this week for Kenny Pickett. But where are you on him going forward?
No. He had to throw 52 times this week, and he only ran once. He ran once for 10 yards. If Kenny Pickett ran 10 times for 65 yards this week, I'd be really happy about that. And I get it. It was a tough matchup, but this is a blowout and he didn't run. So, and he still threw an interception. He's still waiting to throw a touchdown pass. I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy. I mean, if he's playing Detroit, I'll fire him up. If he's playing the Bears, I'm firing him up. I don't know if that's on the docket though for him. I don't think the Steelers are playing them this year, are they? But no, I'm not on Pickett right now. I'm not down with that.
I'm going to take a look at the Steelers and see what they have coming up because I think he's interesting because he does have the ability to run. But again, tough matchup. He's going to play the Bucs next week. He'll be at the Dolphins the week after that. You don't want him against the Eagles the week after that.
Nope.
Probably don't want him against the Saints, although the Saints just got beat up by Geno Smith. So maybe you do. Maybe you do want him.
Maybe. Where is it? Is it at home or on the road?
It's a home game. We're at the old ketchup bottle.
All right. Okay.
You got the Bengals. You're at the Colts. At the Falcons.
I don't see any A+ matchups. Maybe the Bengals if he runs.
That's really it.
Yeah. So no.
Maybe the Raiders.
Yeah. No. It's not doing it.
I don't.
3 quarterback league. Absolutely.
There you go.
And depending on how desperate you are, like, okay, rest of the season, Justin Fields or Kenny Pickett. And I'll still take Justin Fields.
Yeah, he's got more running ability, and he'll utilize his legs. That's valuable.
Yeah, and they're going to play from behind too. They don't have an offense, they don't have a defense. So if it comes down to it, and I need a QB2 on an off week, I'll take Fields over Pickett right now, and that's saying something too. Because
he's been real bad. That offense for Chicago has been real bad.
Come on, CeeDee Lamb, catch the damn ball. Let's get this prop home, dude. Drive me nuts.
That's tough. You gotta have stronger hands. Gotta have.
There we go. We got the Kyler over rushing yards. That's nice. So maybe we'll go double dip on that.
Bingo.
But all right. So we lose the Baker. We got the Kyler Murray. My phone just died. I gotta go get my phone charger, and it's time for a break anyway. So that's good, Greg. We'll come back. We'll do a little loser board action, and then that'll wrap this hour up, and we'll get to next hour. I want to talk a lot about Sunday Night Football tonight. Lamar Jackson's out there, and then the Chiefs and the Raiders. And basically, my whole weekend is tied to Monday Night Football, and I'll tell you why next, Greg. This is the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Zone. Yo, speaking of cards, I got 2 things I want to bring up, and I got them ready for the show today.
Sure.
First of all, I don't know if you ever played this Topps Home Run Challenge game.
No,
like
I
a genius.
haven't.
So I'm in love with Adolis Garcia. So basically, what you do is you scratch off the back, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you a code. You go and you punch it in, and then you have to pick the game that he's going to hit a home run in, right?
Oh, okay, I've never heard of that before.
And then if you do that, you get like a special limited edition card, and it's limited to how many people actually picked he would hit a home run that month.
Cool.
And then you could double down if he goes over 425 feet. You get like an extra special card.
Yeah.
So I went on eBay, like, because I like Adolis Garcia, like, because all the rest are big names. I got 6 of them, and I totally forgot to punch them in. So I got the plan. I think they're coming up Colorado soon or something.
There he goes, right there.
I have a month left to punch in 6 Adolis Garcia home run cards.
There you go. Congratulations.
We can do that live on the show if you'd like.
Sure.
Here's the second one.
Okay.
And I think you're gonna like this. I was at Target, and they had Garbage Pail Kids. And it wasn't
that's
just
pretty cool.
It was Garbage Pail Kids Bookworms, it's called, and it makes fun of like book stuff. This is one of the greatest cards I've ever got in my life, and I'm trying to probably buy more. You see
Nice,
that
I like
there?
that. That's pretty dope right there.
It's
That's
Winnie
pretty dope.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah,
and he's
I like
he's
that.
pooping on. Look at that.
I like that. That's dope right there. That's clever, Nando. You know,
This is the best card I've ever seen in my life. It's worth
when I was
$1.50.
going to elementary school, right, in the Washington Heights area in New York City, you used to walk down Broadway, and on Broadway and 150th Street, it was a dude. You would go in there, and he used to hand out, sell, like, you know what I'm saying? He used to sell the Garbage Pail Kids in the morning before we go to school. So everybody was in that store buying Garbage Pail Kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool right there. Yeah, just get that. I'm up to deal with the Garbage Pail Kids. I think that's pretty cool.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah. I mean, you see the little poop emojis right there too. That's a cool card, Nando. Yeah.
Right? You can get it for like $2.
I like that.
I don't know why. This is my favorite thing in the world right now. I don't even know what to do with it. Like, I want to hang it up on my wall or something. Like, it's just so. Who comes up with Winnie the Pooh pooping on? Winnie the Pooper.
I like that.
I gotta find something. They even have the balloons the same color as like the actual Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Cartoons.
I like it, Nando. That's sweet.
Anyway,
That's
sorry.
clever.
I just wanted to share that with you. I'll never
Thank
grow
you.
up. That's that'll be old man Corey. Wait a minute. Hey, turn your bass down. I'm going through my Winnie the Pooper collection.
Turn that NBA young boy down. I'm trying to do a show over here. What's going on? No respect. All that boogity, 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 all loud.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk. Sports talk done better.
Rudolph in motion to the right, the snap, play action fake, and the pass by Brady to Fournette. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Easy pickings for Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette. Fire the cannons.
Did a great job. Yeah, absolutely great job. Was super focused and into it. Big, powerful, strong guy. Obviously, when he gets ahead of steam, he's tough to take down and catches the ball well. And, love his effort out there. Love his leadership.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone. Will you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network?
Yeah, some Leonard Fournette there. Welcome back to the program. Bettor Zone, Holden Kushner, Greg Larnard from Chattanooga does middays out there at ESPN in Chattanooga. And then I'm Holden, and I just do a whole bunch of different stuff. So you can find me in a lot of places. Follow me on Twitter at Holden Radio. Where can they find you on Twitter, Greg?
At Greg Larnard. Nice and easy. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. So you're like the Taysom Hill. You just do everything.
Everything, man. I just do a lot of different stuff. Piece it together and have fun. Leonard Fournette. That was Tom Brady talking about it. We heard the Leonard Fournette touchdown. Uncle Lenny, 14 carries, 56 yards, only averaged 4 yards per carry. That's fine. Scored a touchdown, 11 targets, 10 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown. Old noodle arm Brady dumping it down to Fournette, who was the second leading scorer, 25.9, half point PPR. If we do that for a full game, I'm just not good at doing that. What would that be? 5 points. So like 30.9. Eckler with 31.9. So that's what we got there at running back. Let's do a loser board. Little loser board action. Who's the biggest loser at running back today? James Robinson. I didn't have any James Robinson, but there was some ATN today. But James Robinson, those of you say, oh, he's my RB1. This guy's a stud. Not today. 27 yards on 10 touches, carries, and 2 receptions for 12 yards. I think he's right up there at the loser board.
Yeah, he's way at the top. Another guy you want to look at, and I try to avoid this backfield at all costs this year, Holden, and that's the Buffalo running back situation because they have Josh Allen there to run the football. So Devin Singletary, aka we call him Devin Singleberry around here, is that he has been terrible. And again, I don't know how you can play him at this point. He just doesn't get enough opportunity with Josh Allen throwing the football and his running ability as well. They just don't utilize the running backs there.
You make me sick.
So, yeah, James Robinson was a rough one there. There's some other guys. A.J. Dillon, who's killing our guy. Matt Deutsch, the Hunter boss. 6 carries, 34 yards. It's more of the same. They're just not giving the ball. I don't know what the plan is there offensively either, because late in that game, you saw Aaron Rodgers just throwing it 60 yards down the field. Hey, we got a massive advantage in the running game here. Let's just not take advantage of it.
Yeah, the Packers are just trying to figure it out as well. They don't know. Matt LaFleur is trying to figure out, okay, which of these young wide receivers are going to be able to step up? How can we devise the game plan around them and utilize these running backs? I'm really disappointed they haven't utilized both him and Aaron Jones a little bit more, but maybe they've become predictable, Holden, of the opposing team knows, hey, those are your 2 best weapons, in terms of your offense. We're going to try to do everything we can to shut them down. So just knowing that, it's just been disappointing that they haven't been able to figure it out. But I still, as a Packers fan, a Packer backer, as they call them, I still have faith in this offense and Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. And I know money-wise you're out on them right now, but I'm still choosing to believe.
A.J. Brown. Still some time left. Did we get to the fourth quarter? I think we just got to the fourth. Oh, there's only 7.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
7 minutes left now. 17-7 Eagles on top. 17-17 Eagles and Cardinals are tied. So, they got in the box there. I still need another Ertz reception, but boy, this Eagles-Cardinals game is pretty damn good right now. Anyways, looking at the leaders at the Wide receiver position, the top two today, Gabe Davis had the 2 big bombs, 171 yards off of 3 catches, 6 targets, 2 touchdowns. De'Ami Brown, 75-yard touchdown from Ryan Tannehill. But those are the top 2. Who kills you today? Who's killing you? I think CeeDee Lamb was that 4 for 42. That is not good for a wide receiver 1 if you got him as a wide receiver 1. Game's not over, so I won't officially put him on there yet. And then, listen, who knew Teddy Bridgewater was going to go down? But that whole Miami offense, just you go to the loser board. You know, Tyreek had, 7 catches for nothing. Waddle, 3 catches for 23 yards. Basically, that whole offense just sucked, and it's because they had to go to Stevenson. So the Dolphins, very exciting offense. It don't look as exciting as it is right now.
No, it doesn't. When you don't have the quarterbacks there, yeah, it's a big problem. We saw the new concussion protocol being put into place with Teddy Bridgewater, so he was taken out, and that's going to be something that we have to watch. And look, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't have any shares of him, unfortunately, but if you had him, he's been killing it for you this season. He was terrible today, and that whole Lions offense, which has just been littered with just gold between Jamal Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You talk about TJ Hawkinson last week as well. Those guys have been a gold mine, and it just wasn't there against New England. And obviously that's all Bill Belichick just devising a plan and shutting them down. And all of us, I feel like we should have known better that this was going to come and this was going to happen this week against the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick.
Well, that was the whole thing. Like, Goff finally has to go outside. He's not in a dome anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And he's going up a capable head coach. Bill Belichick, no matter what this team's record is, we still know that he likes to take everything away that matters. The one thing I'll say about Amon-Ra, though, is that his injury led me to kind of fade him today, too. There's a lot of guys that like that last week. Gabe Davis. Well, Gabe Davis looks healthy now. So hopefully you're on him another week for Amon-Ra to rest it. What was it? The groin, right? He gets another week to rest that. I think next week is the week you want to pull the trigger on him.
What about Gabe? Can I ask you a quick question about Gabe Davis? Give me your thoughts on Gabe Davis in this offense with Buffalo. I know you mentioned he wasn't really healthy, and he had a great week 1 and got banged up a little bit and has been down. He's been out a little bit and obviously exploded back today. How are you on him moving forward the rest of the season? Is it okay? He's back to health, so I'm good with him, or are you a little skeptical that he might be a little bit of a roller coaster ride up and down?
He'll be a roller coaster ride. So in redraft, he'll just have spike weeks will win you a week. Hopefully, if you had him today, he won you the week. DFS, he's a tournament play every week, though. Highest scoring offense, number 2 option in the passing game. And I think that it's about to really get going for Gabe Davis. Like, we're going to see more blow up spots like he had today. So what can he do with 5, 6, 7 targets a game? We know what he can do. You're going to bust a big play. So I'm on Gabe Davis. I think every week you at least have to consider him in DFS unless Josh Allen goes down. Redraft, if you got him. I don't always say play your studs. You know, sometimes there's better matchups when you have that, but he's just a gold mine. Like, he is going to win you a week or two. If he hasn't already won you a week or two. There's also going to be some light weeks. You could say that about anyone, though, right? But I just think the dips between Davis, putting up 35 points, I think he puts up, well, he's not going to put up 35. I think he puts up more 25-point performances than 5-point performances. That's what I'll say. I think he's a big play waiting every single week.
Yeah, so he's like he's not like Sammy Watkins, where he'll just absolutely blow up the box score and then just disappear.
No, he's not like Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going back to my phone, though, by the way. We got 2.5 minutes to play.
There we go. Fire it back up.
Well, we got a little juice. I might have to go back. I might have to go back to Kyler Murray rushing. We'll see if they get the ball back. It's 3rd and 1 now. By the way, I need the Eagles just to punch this in for a touchdown. So screw that. I'm not going to mess with Kyler Murray again. We got over the first prop. Can we get through this?
I need Kyler Murray over 24 yards. So I need about 6 more yards out of Kyler Murray.
Did you bet him on the pregame?
I did pregame. Yep, over on his rushing prop.
Oh, they shut that down. You can't even get in there anymore. Another yard, they would give us plus 210, but they're not going to do that. They're going to hold back on it. I don't blame them either.
Yeah.
I don't blame them either.
Vegas ain't stupid.
As far as rushing goes, Murray 2 for 18. Jalen Hurts 13 for 61 and 2 touchdowns. Rest of the season, it's Josh Allen and Hurts 1 and 2 with, well, all right, rank these guys then. Allen, Hurts, Jackson, Mahomes, rest of the season.
Rest of the season, I'm going to take Josh Allen number. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts number 2.
Okay.
I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes number 3, and I'll go Lamar number 4.
And I'm just going to go Allen, Jackson, Hurts, Mahomes. I'm so high on Lamar Jackson, though. It just the floor for him rushing is like, no, he can run 100 yards. Now, him and Allen, the thing about Mahomes is he just doesn't run as much as these other three guys, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to be number 4. But boy, I mean, these Lamar games, he does have a cannon. He has great rapport with Andrews. We'll see if he can hit Bateman, or Bateman's gone. We can see if he can hit Duvernay tonight. But yeah, I got Allen 1, Jackson 2, Hurts and Mahomes. And then Geno Smith's got to be in there, number 5. Just I can't believe I just said that. But
of course, Geno's got to be 5.
I mean, he's got to be 5 at this point. All right, Greg, we got hour number 3 coming up. Rick Kamla is going to join us in about 30 minutes from right now. We'll come back. We'll catch you up on all the action. We got to talk about Lamar Jackson and Sunday Night Football as well. We'll do that next right here on the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Zone.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for waffles.
I eat breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's the equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got this steak sandwich, which was
steak sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an odd guy. Yes, you are. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough. Smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that.
No, Alfredo, that's what he gets at the steakhouse.
Do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse to get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look.
The name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles, man.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Here comes pressure, throws it to Eckler on the screen. He's got a block to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers. What a connection. With a man in his face, Herbert lets it fly. Eckler hauls it in and eludes 2 Brown defenders to pay dirt.
O-line, they ended up getting a game ball for a good reason because they were definitely moving some people out of the way. We switched up our scheme a little bit, something a little different than what we've done in the past, and, we were able to exploit that.
Bettor Zone.
All right, I'm crediting the Chargers radio network for that one. Welcome back to the Bettor Zone. Rick Kamla is going to join us about 30 minutes. We'll preview Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football, basically all of my teasers are tied to the Chiefs. -1. So hopefully that happens. I'm going to need that. Obviously, the Packers didn't help out too much today. Looks like the Cowboys are just going to steamroll the Rams 22-10. Let's talk about these Rams for a second. I mean, they could come back, but they're screwed. Like, they just look bad. Stafford looks bad as we've seen him in years. He looks like he's playing banged up. There's really nobody there to help Cooper Kupp stretch in the field. They miss Odell Beckham. They're going to have to get this guy back in there. Defensively, they're okay. Nothing special, though. So very interesting what we're seeing right now from the Rams. Greg, talk to me here. Greg Leonard, ESPN Chattanooga. What's going on here with the Rams going forward?
It's bad. The offensive line is just not as good. Missing Andrew Whitworth, obviously, who just retired after the Super Bowl win. That was tough. And you're right. They don't have a field stretcher. They thought that obviously Van Jefferson being out is hurt a little bit. Allen Robinson, he's not that guy anymore. You had him. You brought him in here to sort of try to replace what Odell Beckham Jr. did. And we saw that he fell off in Chicago. And you just thought, yeah, it's just a bad offense, not a good quarterback. Matt Nagy, obviously, he's on the way out. They're trying to get Darnell Mooney involved a little bit more, and Allen Robinson will be fine. You put him with a better quarterback and a better offense, more creative play caller, he'll be fine. And that has been anything but that for Allen Robinson in this offense. And you're right, it's Cooper Kupp, it's Tyler Higbee, and they have nothing else. The running game that they kind of were just leaning on Cam Akers to be that guy. He hasn't been that guy. Henderson hasn't even really been involved all that much as well, running the football. And Brandon Powell is there running the football at this point in this game. I don't even know who that is. So it's not good. And you don't want Matthew Stafford throwing the football 35, 40 times. He's going to have to throw this football over 40 times probably in this game. And I'm hoping that it gets that prop bet for Cooper Kupp, and something is just happening that you don't like here.
Oh, well, Quez Watkins. So here I got the Eagles. What is it? -5. That's not going to hit now. 5. So, and by the way, I hit a flash bet here on DraftKings. They were giving away a $10. Flash bet is basically what's going to happen on this drive. So I got field goal at +160, but Hurts was rolling out, and man, he had Quez Watkins right there. Quez just got popped. I'm surprised they didn't throw a flag there. Helmet to helmet contact. No, it was the shoulder to the head.
Yeah, it's a shoulder.
Yeah. I don't know if you're supposed to go shoulder to the head, but whatever. Too late for me there. But, I mean, there's still a chance of some overtime. We'll see what happens. But they got a field goal coming up now. It's going to be 20-17 if this field goal goes through. And now, once again, your guy, Kyler Murray, everybody's guy, has a chance to do something here and try for this game-winning drive, or at least tie it up. We'll see what happens with the field goal.
And by do something, you mean run for at least 6 more yards is what we're talking about.
Oh, you need – man, I'm going to be honest with you. If they still had that up, because they shut it down. There's no way they open that prop back up.
There's no chance.
I love where you're at right now. Just letting you know.
I love the
confidence. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. Hell, it happens. But
we also got a live spot. We got a live bet for this Cowboys-Rams game. I took the under at 48.5 sometime in like the second quarter.
Yeah.
And this thing just hasn't moved. It's been
it's not going anywhere. From that game, Allen Robinson's up to 3 catches for 12 yards. Hopefully he doesn't make another grab on this drive, because that would just be a bad beat, is all that I could say. After what he's done today, just doing absolutely nothing, for him to like get one big catch, but 3 catches on 4 targets for 12 yards. Cooper Kupp, that just got called back. So Cooper Kupp needs 9 receptions. He's got 6 for 109 with a touchdown.
9. I thought it was 8.
8.5. When you go over,
okay, I got you. Yeah. No, I forgot the number that you said. I wasn't sure if it was 7.5 or 8.5.
Yeah. So that's going to be a tough one. What else? Cooper Rush under passing yards. What did we say it was? Like 150 at halftime?
Yeah.
He's at 102. He's had to throw 16 times, so that's kind of low. Looking back at some bets here, Jalen Hurts, upper 50s for his rushing prop, I want to say. He's sitting at 62 and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, that's definitely, you can cash that one. What was his rushing prop pregame? I thought it was in the 50s. 44.5. Wow. So he blew through that thing very, very early. If you back Jalen Hurts, and again, Kyler Murray, his pregame rushing prop was 24.5, and he's sitting at 18. So again, you're definitely in the mix there to get that done, though. You're definitely
in the
not
mix.
bad. Yeah,
We're in the mix, and
just tuck it and run, Kyler. I'm rooting for you on that one.
That's it.
I'm
And then we
rooting for
also have Cooper Rush under 5.5 rushing yards, and he's sitting at 1 carry for 2 yards. So we are good there so far.
Oof. Cooper Rush.
I'm being like you. I'm playing the unders a little bit.
It's so uncomfortable too. I hate it. It's just not fun. But again, I want to win money. This will be my first losing week betting wise, though. Thank God DFS has saved my ass, but this has not been a good week betting wise.
You are one pathetic loser.
You are better, boss. By the way, he says, how about all your Lions and Dolphins for the loser board? Yeah, and that's what happens. Jared Goff on the road and no Teddy Bridgewater. 20-17. I need your boy Kyler to run his ass off, get a field goal so Jalen Hurts can lead a touchdown drive in overtime.
There we go. That would be
That's
ideal.
What I'm planning for. Yeah.
I'll take that.
Look at all Matt Stafford. There you go. The interception prop cashed again. It's like clockwork. Matt Stafford, you're always going to get him around minus 120 for an interception. And it's going to happen more often than not. And he just threw a pick. So he's limping off the field. He looks like garbage. If you draft him and redraft, you can't be feeling good about yourself because he's just been a complete dumpster fire. He's a bust. I'm not buying any Stafford for the rest of the season.
No chance. This offense just looks so bad outside of Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee, like we've been talking about all day. You can't believe in anything outside of those two entities.
No. They're in a bad spot right there with Stafford. And I get it. He always plays banged up, but he just doesn't look like the same guy this season. And maybe it is because of the weapons. Maybe it's a hangover from last year. Maybe it's because he's banged up again. But whatever it is, he's mediocre at best now. And this Rams team is in danger of missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
What are they going to be after this? What's going to be their record?
They're
2-3. They'll be 2-3.
2-3 and 1-2 at home. They've just not been good at home either. They almost lost to the Falcons at home.
Is the problem.
Well, of course, yeah. They can sleep in their own bed. That's about it.
The Chargers even worse to that. But let's go here real quick. I want to go look at the standings in the West. Niners are 2-2. They're about to go to 3-2. Rams 2-3. Cardinals, if they lose, they're 2-3. This whole division is going to be 2-3, except for the Niners. So it's not like any. There you go. You got your Kyler. That's why I wanted to bet that damn thing in the last drive. He went way over his prop right there.
There we go.
Yeah, Kyler, little guy running, finding his way. The thing that shocks me is the Rams defense has been so bad here, really bad. I mean, you're giving up how many points they give up here? 22 to the Cowboys today.
22 to the Cowboys.
That's unacceptable. Yeah, it's not good. So they're in a lot of trouble. The Rams are in a lot of trouble. The good news for them is the division. Nobody is really pulling away. The Niners had a nice game today. They're taking on Carolina though, but ultimately the Niners have to be the head and shoulders favorite in the division now. Like, do you see any of these other teams hanging with them?
Well, I mean, you've been chalking up Geno Smith all day, so maybe that offense, and
I'm
he
not
can lead that
buying it.
offense to the promised land to top this division. All
Not
kidding
buying
aside, obviously, I'm not buying that either because their defense stinks. So I wouldn't go with Seattle at all. Arizona, I don't have any trust in them and Kyler Murray. It's got to be the 49ers. You just can't trust the Rams, what you've seen out of them so far. My dad's a big Rams fan. I'm sorry, Dad. Like, it's just you got your Super Bowl. You got your Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, and be happy.
Jalen Ramsey has struggled on the Rams side. Yeah, Better Boss says Dallas scored on defense against the Rams offense. You're right. Yeah. So the defense had a little better performance than I'm giving them. The offense is complete trash. Complete trash. By the way, you want to hit us up in the comments? We'd love to talk with you. If you haven't downloaded, well, you've had to have downloaded it, right? Maybe your friend has the Bettor app, Bettor Sports Network app, and that's what you listen on. Go download, get in your app store, the free Bettor Sports Network app. Be part of our live talk shows. Call in, you can chat, you can enter contests just with a push of the button. There's a fun button. That's a lot of fun. I love doing that. I love interacting with everybody here. So get in the Apple app, the Google Play app, tell your friends, download the Bettor Sports Network app. It's a blast. Come back, talk about Sunday Night Football, catch the rest of these 3 games that are wrapping up. Rick Campbell is going to join us in about 15, 20 minutes from right now. So stick around. More of the Bettor Zone to come.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for waffles.
I eat breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's
well, first
the equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got the steak sandwich, which was
steak sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an
I'm not an odd guy.
Yes, you are. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough, smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that. No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the steakhouse.
Do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse to get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look. You know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was going to house that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles, man.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Murray in shotgun, flanked to his right by Benjamin. Now Brown motions behind Murray, left to right. And it's a handoff, left side, Benjamin with room at the 5, and Benjamin's in. Touchdown Cardinals! Eno Benjamin getting it done. And a point after away from tying the game with 9:43 to go.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
What a donkey Kyler Murray is. Did you see this, Greg? Holden Kushner right here. Greg Larnard joining me too here on the Bettor Zone. Did you see this guy? He's got a first down. All he's got to do, third down. He slides 1 yard before the first down mark.
Slides 1 yard.
What a donkey. Seriously. Yeah. Maybe if he was wearing platform cleats, maybe he makes it, but he probably doesn't. But I'm gonna here's my conclusion. As I've watched enough Kyler Murray and now bet on him every freaking week. And they missed the field goal.
Classic.
Have fun with that Kyler Murray contract, Cardinals. That's going to work out for you long term there, buddy. What a jabroni.
Brutal.
I will say this, though. He doesn't run in the first half. He just doesn't do it.
No.
So if you're betting Kyler Murray rushing props, just wait till halftime. And then
or you can get it at a smaller number in the first half when he's not running. If you do
that's what I'm saying. Like, just do it at halftime.
Yeah.
He's not running in the first half.
Yeah, exactly.
We got that prop at 8.5. He ended up with 42. Now, obviously, you got him pregame, so you got it right there. But you're going to almost always, at least the beginning of the season, get a better number on Kyler rushing. And he should have had 43. How do you slide down a yard before the first down marker when he could have gotten it? Is he – I don't like getting personal, calling someone dumb. Is he just not a smart guy? Like these things
Not
crop up
self-aware.
all the time with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, just not self-aware. And if you're going to slide there, go head first. Reach that ball out because if you go into that slide, boom, that ball is going to be down right when you start that slide, and you're not going to make it.
Yeah, this is the
Gotta be
Cardinals
better
Radio
than that.
Network, by the way, coming in with that. What a donkey! Let's go look at the quarterback. Please tell me Stafford didn't turn it over again too. Let's go look at the updated quarterback leaderboard here then, because we know Josh Allen, super stud. We've got Jalen Hurts will end up finishing second this week with 27.6 fantasy points, 239, no touchdowns or picks, 61 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So it's Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Geno, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz. How far do you think we got to scroll down to find Kyler? Oh, he's QB 11 at 16 points.
Yeah, he's somewhere right in the middle there.
I mean, that's just absolutely inexcusable. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you dive. I don't know how you don't dive there. The game's on the line. The first down marker's right there, and he slides a yard before he gave himself up. I don't know. Kyler Murray can go into the same soup as Russell Wilson, and we can pour it out, put it down the drain. Get rid of it. I mean, seriously, Kyler Murray. And I didn't have money on Arizona covering this thing. As a matter of fact, I was hoping they'd lose by more. Where's this guy's brain? What is Kyler Murray doing? He doesn't run in the first half. He's got open lanes. His team falls behind. He's inaccurate. He always looks like he's moping. He's just a sad little guy. And now he has no awareness whatsoever, and he just cost his team the game. Don't tell me it was a long field goal that cost him the game. That's not what cost him. What cost him the game was Kyler Murray sliding a yard before he could have had a first down. Greg, I'm besides myself with that one.
I can tell you were a little worked up. You were a little worked up about this one on Kyler Murray, and there was no money on anything along those lines with that anyways. Obviously, other than if they get the field goal, you got a chance. You go to overtime, and maybe your bet hits the -5.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah, so that's over. The Cowboys and Rams, that's going to be over. They're taking kneel downs now. Hope you didn't start Cooper Rush in fantasy, 102 passing yards. No rushing yards. Oh, that's a killer. You know why? You know where you're going to get burned on a lot of quarterback rushing props? The kneel downs.
These kneel downs.
They'll kill it. I remember a few years ago, the first time I got a chance to bet player props, and I think it was Lamar Jackson, as a matter of fact. I'm like, yeah, catch this prop. We got it late. 3 kneel downs, 4 yards later. Beware betting quarterback rushing props. Did you hold up? Did you bet Cooper? Did you bet Cooper Rush?
Yeah, I had him under the 5.5.
Oh, beautiful! Even better.
Yeah.
He's gonna end the day at -1
fine.
rushing yard. Congratulations!
Check. Thank you, sir. Thank
so
you.
even if he had gone over, he would have gone under.
Yeah, I mean, unless he went way over, then. But yeah, he was nowhere on the leaderboard. He was one of those losers of the week. And who was the biggest guy on this leaderboard here that stood out to you the most? Let's say top 7, 8, 10 guys on this leaderboard.
What position?
For quarterbacks. The quarterbacks. Who stood
all right.
out
So
to
we
you the
obviously
most
got
today?
the 2
Who was
big
the most
ones.
surprising?
Allen and Hurts were the big ones. Geno, honestly, a little surprised at New Orleans today against Lattimore. That defense with the Saints is not performing as well. I'm surprised Geno went for 268 and 3. That shocked. I wouldn't say shocked. Very surprised. Kirk Cousins in the 1 o'clock doesn't surprise me. 22.24 points. He was 4th. Wentz doesn't surprise me. Again, fire this dude up when he's playing really bad teams. It's just, it works. It works with him. But what surprised me today? Well, I think Herbert, after last week, looking at him, feeling a lot more comfortable, I was a little surprised against this Cleveland team for him to be as mediocre as he was at 14 points. I'm not going to call him a loser because he's battling that rib cartilage. And then, Kyler Murray at 16, he's just he's the QB 11 this week. There's no reason for this. The rushing, he should be running more, and he's just not accurate enough. 28 of 42 is okay. That was good today, but we're not seeing him hit the big plays. Yeah, Kyler Murray, just very disappointed. Very disappointed. And Matt Stafford's dead. Like if you're starting Matt Stafford, you got to be really desperate in a 2 QB league. 12 points today, fumbles, throws a pick. Just keep betting his interceptions every week, guys. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield was bad, came away with just over 6.5 points. I mean, it's a wasteland out there towards the bottom with some of these guys. Matt Ryan, I know from Thursday, he wasn't very good. A little surprised Trevor Lawrence wasn't able to play a little bit better. He had been playing some decent football to begin the season, only 10.5 points nearly. I know the Houston's pass defense has been pretty good with Derek Stingley and some of the younger guys that they have there. I was really surprised that they couldn't get into the end zone and they couldn't run the ball as efficiently as I think they should be able to, and they've shown so far earlier this season with James Robinson. I was thinking this was going to be the week for Travis Etienne to finally really pop and get into the end zone, but unfortunately that didn't happen either.
No, hey, things happen. What are you going to do? So the games are over now. I think we got a couple seconds left. No, we're all done.
No, we're
all
good.
3 late games are over. So let's just talk about some of these performances real quick, and then Camel's going to join us in a couple of minutes. But Zeke in a spot. Pollard missed some time. He was sick this week. And I think at this point, we just know what Zeke Elliott is, right? He's like a flex play. He has to get in the end zone to pay off. 22 carries, 78 yards. Really? He's neither one of the running backs were used in the passing game today. I think Zeke
really wasn't much of a passing game.
Zeke is trash on a fantasy roster. He's not doing anything for you. He's just not. You get 22 carries, and you end up with 7.8 points.
That's bad.
Yeah, the Zeke. Yeah, and there's Pollard again. Jerry Jones. I gave so much money to Elliott. I got to be loyal to him. Well, your boy Tony Pollard busted out a 57-yard run, 8 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, it's baffling. How many years have we been saying this for, too? How many years have we been saying this? This is the third year Pollard's better than Zeke?
Yeah. It feels like it's been a while, yet they've paid Zeke. And look, early on in his career along with Dak, it seemed like when they were successful, Zeke was their guy. There was their bell cow, and it seemed the offense would run better with Zeke getting all of those carries and getting the touches and having these big games and being the guy. But like you mentioned, over the last 3 years, after they paid him, he just hasn't been that guy, and Tony Pollard has flat out been better. It doesn't help not having Dak there.
Let me get to this Sunday night game, and then Rick Kamler is going to join us. We love Kamler. Always brings the energy. Terrific. He's got a show here on the Bettor Network. I'm just looking up the lines right now for tonight's game. I know Lamar Jackson's rushing prop went up to 59.5. I'm fine with that if it stays under 60. I'm in at 56.5. I will likely target it again if he doesn't do anything on the first drive and we get this thing under the closing number or under the opening number, 56.5. I'll probably reinvest in it. But here we go. So we got the Ravens hosting the Bengals tonight. Baltimore -3. I'm on Baltimore. 47.5 is the total. Bengals plus 140. Baltimore -165. And there's no Bateman tonight. So let's start there. And you've said this a couple times. Hey, no Bateman. What do you think this means for Lamar Jackson and this offense?
It means that he's going to have to run the football, and he's going to be relying on his tight ends a little bit more with Mark Andrews and maybe getting Isaiah Likely involved a little bit more. That's likely to happen, pun intended. So hopefully he'll be able to do that. So getting the tight ends involved, running the football a little bit more J.K. Dobbins involved. I know they like Justice Hill a lot there as well. I don't know if we'll see him kind of get into the mix, but obviously he's not going to be involved in any fantasy aspects, or you probably don't want to throw him in any prop bets or anything like that. But it's going to be a lot of tight ends, a lot of running for Lamar Jackson tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. Duvernay's got to be in the mix, right? For a nice big shot.
He's a big play guy. You know, I assume he'll catch 2 balls for 70 yards and a touchdown. He's not a big volume guy.
I'll take 2 for 70 and a tutty, man.
Yeah.
You tell me he's going to give that tonight. I'm going to go run and go get it. Oh my God. And then you were talking about Joe Mixon. You're still a little concerned about Joe Mixon. True?
There is a little bit of concern there, just the way that he's not super efficient running the football, but I'm not worried because there's nobody else that Zach Taylor's giving the football to. You're not giving it to Samaje Perine. You're not giving it to Chris Evans. And no, he's not Captain America. You're giving it to Joe Mixon. And so one prop here that I was kind of looking over real quick, Holden, and I want to get your thoughts on it. What about Joe Mixon over? I know you're not a big over guy. You're more of an under guy.
Carries? You going carries?
Carry 16.5.
Did that drop?
Over the first 4 games this
17.
season, first 4 games this season, he went 27, 19, 12, and 24.
Yeah. And they got to be playing. They can't get their butts kicked. They're on the road. It's nothing that I'm really going to sit here and say, you got to hit this. But he's gone over it, what, 3 of 4 games this season?
3 out of the 4, yeah.
3 out of 4 he's gone over it. Yeah, my only concern is that Lamar just comes out and they just shove it right down their throats. And Burrow has to drop back and throw a ton. But the spread's 3, so it's not like a really big spread. What that tells you on a neutral field, it would probably be Baltimore just on the money line, -0.5, because home field advantage just doesn't mean as much this year. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I don't love it, but there are arguments to be made.
Okay.
And this is a bet that was talked about earlier today. I know there's a couple of guys that were discussing it, and I just doesn't do it for me. I'll just stick with Lamar. And then, probably try and hit some stuff in game. Lamar, the Bengals, and at what point in time is Jamar Chase going to go bananas? That's the last
thing. Could be tonight. That Baltimore secondary is not very good.
At what time do we want to – because he showed a little bit of life. He had 4 catches for, 81 yards. Okay. Right? So – we're still waiting for that big play. And the Ravens have a terrific cornerback unit, but their secondary has been as bad as just about anybody. This could be a Jamar Chase game, come to think of it. He's been very inconsistent.
His receiving prop 71.5 going into this. I like that.
Yeah. I think receptions, if you gave me a 4.5, what's that?
Especially if T. Higgins isn't playing.
T. Higgins is playing, isn't he?
He is playing. I thought we were talking with Eric about that he wasn't sure if he was going to play or not.
Yeah, I know that Schefter came out and said something about that. Let me go look up for Higgins too. I mean, listen, if Higgins is out, obviously Jamar Chase is the one to go. Yeah, but
he's on the board there, so I assume he is playing.
Higgins is playing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Even if he's banged up, though, if he's a little bit limited, maybe he's not 100%. Yeah, go with Jamar Chase tonight.
Okay. It's an interesting one. Kamla's coming up next. We'll catch up with Rick. Last call here for some comments. Anything you won, you lost, you're sweating out tonight, you got questions about tonight's game or Monday night's game, hit us up in the comments. Find the fun button and hit the fun button too. Rick, take a deep breath. We're going to take a quick break, okay? I got it. You know what? Screw it. You're here. I'm not breaking. I'll break when you're done. I felt like I needed it. What we have here, we use a lot in Denver, is these oxygen cans because there's not a lot of oxygen here. And I feel like I really need energy when I'm on with you. You're just going to pone me. But let's get into this, my friend. First of all, where's your notes? Let's see the notes.
Right here. I am
all right.
back.
No
hurricane this week, so we were able to, you see
what is the most
all the goodies.
What is the most important note you've written down today? Talk to us about it. And by the way, have you met Greg Larnard? He's with ESPN Chattanooga, hosting for Pilar today.
Greg, what's up, man? Rick Hamlin, nice to meet you.
Hey, Rick, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, man. The most important note that I wrote down today. Boy, that's tough to that's tough to answer here. What I will tell you, Holden, is I do this so that I don't forget the little intricacies of the game, right? We can all look at a box score.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to do our grinding on that and stats and heading into week 6 and the whole thing. But the reason I consume football like the Cookie Monster all day on Sunday is to learn tendencies, find out about coaches, find out about players. And Ron Rivera, who's on the hot seat in Washington anyway, and this is what these notes are for, right? He needed a timeout at the end of the first half, 1:20 to go. Tennessee's driving. They get a 1st and goal, right? And that's you. When you don't have the ball, the way you take control of the game is by taking timeouts when the other team has the ball. Ron Rivera should know this. He's a veteran coach. So he lets the clock tick down 25, 30 seconds. Vrabel ends up banging a timeout. Okay. Not even Rivera. All right. So the rest of the drive goes. And Tennessee, of course, scores. Ron Rivera never stopped the clock. And so you end up having 17 seconds at the point of the touchdown, 10 seconds left when Wentz got the ball back, and they just simply took a knee. It's absolutely dreadful coaching, man. You've got to bang all 3 of your timeouts. So it's
Yep.
first and goal, first down, bang a timeout. Second down, bang a timeout. Third down, bang a timeout. Then it's either a touchdown or a field goal, and you're going to have, 45 seconds left to work with without timeouts, but you will have time to work it out, right? So a lot of notes here, Holden. We can go in a bunch of different directions, but I thought that was horse crap, man. And especially for a veteran coach, like if Nathaniel Hack out there in Denver, where you are, wants to do that, you understand, right? Because he's a piece of garbage. But Ron Rivera should understand these things. And that was very disappointing to see. Think about it. At the end of the game, you lose by 4, right? What if you get a field goal at the end of the half? And so now you're down 1. Boom, you're going for a field goal instead of a touchdown. Wentz doesn't make the throw that he made. Like decisions that they make at the end of the half, sometimes come back to bite them. And I really thought that happened to Rivera in Washington today.
Yeah, absolutely. And staying in that game, and I want to just get your thoughts on the Tennessee Titans right now. I'm in Chattanooga, and we're talking about the Titans all the time and how they just failed to score in the second half. I know that they got a touchdown today, but they've been outscored like 71 to like 14, I think it is, in the second half of games so far this season. It's just been really bad. What have you seen out of the Tennessee Titans? They don't have a ton of fantasy options there. We talk a lot about fantasy and whatnot here on the show, but it was disappointing with Robert Woods. I was higher on him today. It's just really the Derrick Henry show, and that's about it.
Talk to your general manager down there. Why wouldn't you want to pay AJ Brown? Let's start there. So Greg, tell me, were you down there, local radio, saying this guy's crazy, should have re-signed? Everybody else did it, right? McLaurin got paid, Deebo Samuel got paid, like all these major, DK Metcalf got paid, all these major wide receivers got their bread this offseason. But A.J. Brown wouldn't get his bread from Tennessee. We saw it again today, right? A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are such a thing. Where were you with that?
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. It was crazy that Robinson didn't re-sign and try to make a play for A.J. Brown. You can just tell over the last couple of years since he was drafted here how much of a difference he makes when he's on the football field. And to think that, hey, look, we could ship him off. We'll be okay. We'll draft Treylon Burks and he'll come in here and help replace. And we got Robert Woods and everything will be fine. The offensive line was in shambles. Ryan Tannehill is not that guy. He needs a guy like A.J. Brown to be successful.
And Greg, Austin Hooper's been amazing this year, hasn't he? That's been a fine pickup, hasn't it?
Gosh, it's been brutal.
I'm hitting nerves with you guys, man.
How did you let Jonnu? Look, I know Jonnu Smith is no world beater or anything like that, but how do you let a guy that had so much success in Tennessee catching touchdowns in the red zone and was such a big factor for you, how do you let him walk out of the door and then you haven't been able to replace him? You thought last year you were going to get it done with Anthony Ferkser and Jeff Swaim? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Now, look, I like this kid they have there in Chika Kongwu, who's a young, good young tight end, but we know that young tight ends don't work out right away. So, yeah, it's been a little tough here in Tennessee.
So here's the other team. We're talking about the South, the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. First 3 weeks, he was the poster boy for the greatest quarterback ever. And now this is 2 weeks where he's looked like garbage, to be perfectly honest with you. The Texans go in there today. They get a win. Is this just a product, in your estimation, just a product of a young team taking their lumps, losing to the Texans? Or were you a little too high on Trevor Lawrence? Or maybe you weren't high at all, because these last 2 games, he has taken a step back.
Well, Holden, I am not going to retract this opinion that I had watching Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. I said at the time, he's one of the greatest college football quarterbacks of all time, and he will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. These are things that I said. These are things that I still believe. Now, when I watch Trevor Lawrence, and look, last year, even with Urban Meyer and his historic ineptitude, he was not the one missing check down throws. That was Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was the one overthrowing receivers for terrible interceptions in the fourth quarter. Game over. We've seen improvements this year. Think about the Washington game, guys. How many throws did Trevor Lawrence miss in that game? He missed Etienne open in the end zone. He missed Zay Jones open in the end zone. He threw high and Etienne dropped it. Should have been a touchdown. And then he's had moments where he's looked really, really good, right? Christian Kirk caught 1 pass today. This is the Houston freaking Texans in your house. There's not going to be a better matchup this year for any team than having Houston in your house. It's the best match you could possibly have. Maybe Baltimore's pass defense in your house, right? But you guys get the point. It's very disappointing. I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there with Justin Fields. I didn't have those grandiose opinions about him, but I did have a big opinion about him, and I am a believer in Justin Fields and on these guys when they were in college, but clearly they have been disappointing in the NFL. You think about Baker Mayfield and the face plant that is his career right now. I mean, these guys were fantastic in college, man, like lighting it up. Doesn't it personify and amplify for the 1 millionth time how freaking hard it is to be an NFL head quarterback when these guys are talented guys? These guys are not ham and eggers. These guys are not bums. These guys are talented guys. And a lot of times they look very, very inept on the NFL field. It just goes to show how hard that position is to play, man.
All right, let's talk about another team that is struggling. And Holden and I were talking about this earlier, and a game that we just got finished watching that was a major disappointment, which the Los Angeles Rams so far this season. We were talking about how bad Matthew Stafford has played this year. What is it with the Rams? Is it frankly Matthew Stafford? Is it the lack of Odell Beckham Jr.? Is it the offensive line? What do you see out of the Rams?
It's the offensive line, especially in the middle. And, you saw at the very beginning of the game, the middle of the offensive line caved in. You had, let me get this right. It was, it was Armstrong, I believe, with the hit that knocked it loose. And then Lawrence with the touchdown. Boom, right out of the gate. And it was a carryover from the San Fran game, right? You guys remember that? The middle of the offensive line caving, Matt Stafford taking hit after hit after hit, the offense going nowhere. We saw the same exact thing today. So, look, Stafford's missing throws. I mean, the hope ball that he threw, I don't know, midway through the fourth quarter, right? I think third or fourth down, guys harassing him, running him out of the pocket, just threw the Jameis Winston ball, downfield, easy interception, right? It's Cooper Kupp or nothing. Their backs are giving them nothing. This is an absolute crater fest for the Rams right now. And because of the dilapidation of their offensive line, it's very, very hard to see them pulling out of this, especially when you've got a dominant defensive line like Dallas has, or the week before like San Francisco has. This is what I did in one of my leagues, fellas, and I'm a Matt Stafford, career long guy, and appreciated him at Detroit, and he helped me go pretty far to Major League last year. But what I've been seeing caused me before this morning. I'm like, I'm 3-1 in this league. It's a big money league. It's all my old buddies and all my old homies, right? And I've never won this league, okay? So this is a holy grail type of thing for me. 3-1, trying to go to 4-1. So I'm like, all right, do I trust Stafford today? No, I don't trust Stafford today. So I got him out of my lineup. I actually dropped, it's a 10-team league, which I know I hate him. I know you hate him, but it is what it is. I don't create the rules in this league. I've got Hill, I've got Diggs, I've got Kirk, and I've got Lazard. So I dropped Amari Cooper, seeing that there were a lot of other functional wide receivers on waivers, and I went and picked up Carson Wentz. And so that worked out for me pretty well. Carson Wentz may get benched very, very soon here, but he played today, and he gave me goodies all the way up to, that interception at the end of the game. But that's where I'm at with Matt Stafford. I just dropped Amari Cooper to get Wentz. I should have just dropped Stafford, right? and kept Cooper.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, I'm just not quite ready. And I looked at waivers, and the quarterbacks on waivers were pretty crummy. So I didn't just want to drop Stafford. But anyway, that worked out for me. Wentz had like 22, 23. I think Stafford might have had 14 or 15. So hopefully a lot of other people took him out of their lineups today, because that Dallas defense is no joke, man.
What do you see happening tonight? Baltimore 3-point favorites. Just going to throw it out there now. Lamar's rushing prop is up to 59.5. No Bateman tonight. And then on the Cincinnati side, Greg and I have been talking intermittently about Joe Mixon and what it's going to take to get this guy going too. So maybe start with Mixon and then go to that Baltimore side. Would you, Rick?
So with Mixon, it goes back to what we've seen with the offensive line. And the offensive line has been one of the giant disappointments for me this year. I thought Cincinnati was going to be a very good team. And clearly the last 2 weeks, they've looked like the team that went on that run. The first 2 weeks were dreadful, largely because their offensive line, I think Joe Burrow was sacked 12 times in the first 2 weeks or something like that. And they made a big splashy moves to improve 60% of their offensive line. An entire side of their offensive line they fixed. And so in the offseason, hey, look at all the stuff they're doing. And we talk about these paper lineups and all that. It has not materialized. And it's hurting Mixon because the volume is there. He is getting the ball a little bit like Zeke out there in Dallas. And look, Mixon is still young and spry and a badass and all that kind of stuff. Zeke obviously is nearing the NFL grave. And so just quickly, we fall back into career year theory, Holden, right? When you talk about the guys coming off the career years, James Conner, Austin Eckler. I know Eckler's been cooking the last 2 weeks, but the first 3 weeks were a horror show. Jonathan Taylor coming off a career year. We see what's happening with him. I think there's a little bit of that going on with Mixon too. Just that whole career year theory. There's going to be a crash back to earth after you have a spectacular season like that. I got Cincy tonight, guys, because I'm going to take Burrow, Higgins, Boyd, and Chase. I think Chase is going to have a breakout tonight, guys. I really do. He's been kind of down and kind of weird, and I love the over on his prop. I think it's 69.5 if memory serves. I don't have it in front of me, but I gave that late last week on my show as one of my prop bets. But this is Joe Burrow in probably the best passing game in the NFL against literally one of the worst pass defenses I've ever seen in recent memory. So I'll just check up right there. Like, I think Cincinnati's pass game is going to really light up Baltimore's pass defense, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game.
I mean, at that point, I would just take an alt line because Jamar Chase isn't just going to go for 70. Like, Jamar Chase is blow up. Jamar Chase is a 40-yard night with 7 targets and 4 catches, or he's getting 7 for 6 catches for 120 and 3 touchdowns. When I bet Jamar Chase props, I do just bet the alt lines. Like, if I feel that comfortable about him, give me 100 yards. You know what? I wonder what I can get his alt yards at too. I'm gonna go look that up right now.
I like it.
But you just love him. Like, you think he's gonna go bananas tonight.
My favorite bet on the prop bet board was the over on Mike Evans. That was my favorite bet, and he did it the over. He didn't hit it by all that much. I thought he was going to obliterate that number, but Chase was probably my second favorite prop bet on the board today. I just. It's like you guys remember the props on Chase early in the year. It was like 99.5 or 91.5, like big numbers. I'm like, wait, we're down to 69.5 on Jamar Chase against the worst pass defense ever seen in humanity. Like, what is going on here? They have dispensaries out in Las Vegas, guys. Like, what are these odds makers?
They're not good, and they overcharge you.
I don't have a comment on any of that, but I'm just saying I think the odds makers are making I think they're making a weird detour on the way to the casino to make these odds, man. I mean, that was crazy to me. So hopefully we can bang it and hit it and win it tonight.
All right. Here, I'm going to go look this up here. How about let's get really crazy with the same game parlay just on Jamar Chase, okay? Here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to tell you the number on this. It's not your money. It's mine. So Jamar Chase to get 95 or more yards plus 215. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Jamar Chase to score a touchdown plus 125. Jamar Chase to get 95 and a touchdown is plus 400.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, for a max $100 wager, which I'm only putting a half unit, so $50 on, I get another 25% boost. I got Jamar Chase for 95 yards and a touchdown at almost plus 500, plus 487.
I want to Venmo you money right now. Is that possible? Can I piggyback on this? What do we need to do here?
We'll just put 50 down on it, and that's going to return almost 300.
Love that.
Can I Venmo you $20 and piggyback on that?
Do you want that? You really want to do that?
I do. It's a good bit too. We can talk about it next week and see how it went and rue Jamar Chase if we get screwed, and we can exult if we win. And I think we're good here.
Listen, I think that's what happens when you start talking. You look at things. It's like Jamar Chase doesn't just have when he blows up, he doesn't go for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's a good point.
Jamar Chase goes for 140 and 3 touchdowns.
It's a great point, man. It really is.
So
Justin Jefferson's much the same, right? Like, he just goes off.
He goes off. Today he went off.
No touchdown though. The choky Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, man.
1 o'clock Kirk Cousins is the best Kirk Cousins. 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins is a Hall of Famer. Every other time zone Kirk Cousins is Cooper Rush.
That is outstanding. I love that. Hey,
he did find Jalen Reagor though today. Let's not forget that.
Jalen Reagor. Eagles fans are like, really? He's in the end zone now? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Kamla, go plug everything you're doing and get out of here.
So, all right. I appreciate being on with you guys. A big week coming up on Better Sports Live, Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 Eastern time. Wednesday, of course, is the biggest night of the week. We've got Lisa Ann hanging out with us. An absolute blast. It is just a magic carpet ride. I will not be on Tuesday night. I will be commuting to Orlando. I've got a NBA radio gig with the Orlando Magic doing interviews. Hopefully they give us Banchero.
Why the hell didn't Deutsch call me to fill in for you then? I'm not doing anything Tuesday night.
I am not getting involved.
Let's just make it super awkward and call the owner and proprietor out during the show. Anyways, Rick, what else? We got Lisa. It's a good idea. No one ever called me a self-saboteur for nothing. So Lisa Ann every Wednesday. You're gone on Tuesday. And what else?
And just balling all week, man.
Okay.
It'll be Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night in the 7 to 10 window, bringing the goodies to the people. A lot of baseball talk, right? With the playoffs, I'm super psyched for the wild cards to be over, and then they play the big boys who are coming off by, and we'll be getting everybody ready for week 6 as well. So a lot of fun, man, obviously.
Rick, you're one of the only guys that's older than me here at the Bettor Network. Do you know what an eggplant emoji stands for?
I think I do. I think it's
aroused,
sexual,
right?
I think it's sexual related, right? Am I correct?
I'm going to give what I'm going to do is give away an eggplant emoji that has nothing to do with that, though. I was very aroused today. And I'm going to give away my first eggplant emoji. Yeah, you know what? My wonderful co-host over here, Greg, if you want to give away an eggplant emoji, you can too.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't exactly know what this entails, but let's do it.
It's good. Hey, listen, you don't have to twerk.
Do you guys know the whole pineapple thing? Since we're on the topic of perhaps sexual
what is
fruits
that?
and vegetables.
What's a pineapple?
Well, apparently, I heard this from a buddy on a radio show back in the day. Apparently, if you're at the grocery store and you go get a pineapple and you put the full pineapple in the front of your cart, right? Like right in front of you in that little area where your kids are supposed to sit, and you put the pineapple right there, that's messaging to everybody else at the grocery store that you're a swinger. So giddy up. So
yeah, baby.
We do not do that, Kamala.
Okay.
we don't do that.
I wonder how Rick knows this.
I was doing radio in Atlanta. On the air, we had this conversation. We were crazy maniac knuckleheads, and the guy behind the glass, our engineer producer, was like, he loved talking, right? So he got on and he was just saying, yeah, go to the grocery store one time, put a pineapple in front of you. You'll probably get hit on by a 55-year-old cougar swinger. So no, I have not tried that though. I'm a happily married man. But
don't worry, no one's gonna come approach you if you put a pineapple in your car. You're gonna
Probably
be fine.
not. Probably not. I don't look like too much of a
Well, I
fantasy
wasn't talking just because you're you. I was talking about, I don't think it's true. But Rick, always my pleasure to talk with you. Thanks for hopping on with us, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks,
I'm going to actually, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Holden, I'm going to get with Anthony and get your, send him your Venmo.
Oh yeah, I got to put that in for you. You want $20, right?
Yeah, on the TD and over the yards one. I really like that one. Let's
the
try
little same game parlay action.
Yeah, let's try to get some.
Let's go do that.
Bang for our buck. All right, guys, be well.
All right, take care of yourself, Rick.
See you, Rick.
All right, let's take a quick break, and I want to give an eggplant emoji out. I'm very excited about this new thing that I just thought of, which probably isn't as cool as I think it is, but I enjoy it.
It'll probably be
Greg.
real cool. I'm super psyched. I can't wait.
You're checking out the Bettor Zone. Stick around.
Yeah, baby.
All right, so I got to go put a $20 single game part.
Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
By the way, if you are a commissioner out there, if someone does not pay, that's on you at the end of the day. It sucks. That's why you have to get the money early, because if they don't pay, it's on you. You don't change the prize. A winner shouldn't be impacted because unfortunately you messed up as commissioner. And I've been caught with this before. I've made this mistake. It sucks, and I had to go out of pocket for it. You learn that maybe some of your friends should not be in that league. But Roan, we see it all the time with commissioner issues, and I can't stress it enough that when it comes down to league payment, it's on the commissioner if they don't have everybody's entry fee and someone decides to ghost them.
Yeah, I had to collect 36 entry fees this year. All of them were collected except one. And it was one of my friends who said he was going to pay the second. I forgot to remind him. He might even be listening, but I know he's going to pay. If not, I know where he lives. But nah, he'll pay. But yeah, I mean,
Big Brother Adam Rodas over here.
And even the guy that I've talked about before that usually always pays me at the end, he actually paid on time this time. He usually is like, I'll pay you on Friday, and then it doesn't come, and then it's 4 months later. And he always winds up paying. That's why I don't really get upset. But you've seen my emails, man. I don't play around. Like, this is the date. This is the date. You get it in by then. And I always, too, I'm like, the draft order will be determined when everyone pays. Right. So don't hit me up about the draft order. Once everyone pays, then the draft order will be done. And anyone who's been in this league, now Festi can't attest to this because he's never won money in my league, but the people who do win, they get it right away. Usually the next day or two. Just make sure the scoring, especially with football, no scoring changes, as long as it's not like a point victory, half a point, and then they'll get the money right away.
What about 2 points?
Yeah, I mean, wait it out just in case something crazy happens. I guess I don't wait till Thursday when the official scoring happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, a championship that I was in years ago got reversed, and I ended up winning on a Thursday stat correction.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. You hope it doesn't come down to that. If you're on the better end of that, it's great. But man, imagine thinking you won, you got the money, and then it changes. That's tough.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone for a better NFL game day experience.
And I'm just sending Kamla his little bet here. I even gave him my own boost. What a nice guy I am. 94.5 yards and a touchdown for Jamar Chase for him, plus 487, $20 wins him 117.50.
There you go.
I mean, let's hope. Kind of need that.
I'm jumping in with you guys.
Emoji time. I'm pretty excited about my eggplant emoji thing. How is it not Gabe Davis? Seriously. And the guy didn't even have to do that much today, did he? It basically came on 2 passes. They were at their own 2. Josh Allen threw it up to him for 98 yards. Then he catches another bomb. He averaged 57 yards per catch today, Greg. And
pretty damn good.
6 targets, 3 catches, 171 and 2 touchdowns. If that's not an eggplant emoji, I don't know what is. What do you got?
That's big time eggplant emoji. I'm actually going to go unconventional here. I'm going to take a defense in one that, look, I would normally be maybe a little bit afraid to play against the Rams, but the Cowboys and the way that the Rams are playing right now got me 23 points. They got a touchdown, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries. They only allowed 10 points and got a blocked punt as well. So they got me 23 points. That was a big help in a lot of my leagues. I loaded up wherever I can get to the Cowboys. They've always been able to rush the passer so far this year. So I'm going to give my eggplant emoji to the Cowboys, which I hate the Cowboys, so that's saying something. It was either that or Justin Jefferson.
I mean, Justin Jefferson is probably going to be able to win it probably, 10 times this year?
Yeah, exactly. So I got to go something unconventional.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so damn good. I like that. That was a good eggplant emoji, to be honest with you. Gotcha. That was not a bad one at all. Cooper Kupp, very quiet day today. 7 catches for 70 yards. No, 7 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. He ran for 4 yards. He finishes 4th on the day at wide receiver, by the way. We didn't talk much about Cooper Kupp. I mean, I needed him to make 2 more grabs. He didn't, but Gabe Davis, De'Ami Brown, Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, the top 5.
Excellent.
It's impressive.
It is.
Just Tyler Lockett doing what he's doing right now with Geno Smith. I'm having a hard time buying into the whole Geno thing, Greg, but he's just proven me wrong. Like, at what point in time do you just say, okay, we're going to deal Geno if somebody wants to give me something worth value? We'll trade DK Metcalf. We'll trade Tyler Lockett because this thing's totally going to fall apart at some point in time.
Oh, of course it is. They're not a very.
It is because his value's not getting any higher. Then maybe now it's time to trade.
You gotta trade him. Get rid of him. Wow. This is as high as it's going to go. This is as good as it's going to get, Holden.
Hey, thanks to everybody behind the scenes. Better Boss, of course, is in there. Our producer's just doing a wonderful job. He's a Mets fan. Good luck to you, my friend. Hope everything works out for you tonight. We'll see if that. Last night's game was kind of fun, by the way. Greg Larnard, where can people check you out, man, on Twitter?
At Greg Larnard, nice and easy, nothing crazy, and on ESPN Chattanooga, noon to 2 every day.
Beautiful. Just follow me on Twitter at Holden Radio. I do 1.5 million different things. Got the Bettor Zone going on. Do a little work with Bet Rivers. Run Pure Sports, Run Pure Bets. That's my site. We run that. We had a great time and another amazing week. If you want to check that out. Thanks everybody for checking this show out. We appreciate it. And tell your friends to download the Bettor Sports Network app. I'm Holden. Take care of yourself. And thanks for checking out the Bettor Zone.
Introducing our starting lineup on Bettor Sports Network. Front Yard Fantasy in the morning. Moose and Keith.
Thanks, Ant.